welcome everybody to another edition of hold on. The C3 Friday Free for All, the show for the fans, by the fans. If you would like to join the show, you may click the link that I have pinned at the top of the YouTube chat and the Facebook chat. Join via Streamyard and be a part of this Panther discussion, man. 9 days until there is real Panthers football. That's right. The Panthers are very close to starting their season. And as always, we appreciate y'all for spending your Friday evenings with us to start your weekend. We certainly appreciate everybody on board. First up, let me introduce the boys. You know them and love them. First up, I got the brand ambassador, Diesel Skills. Deez, what's up, brother?
What is going on, Cody Lack? This is our last Friday show before the official start of the NFL season. Of course, Thursday, the Chiefs and Ravens will be going at it to kick off the NFL season. And then we will have one more show before our first game to talk about how we feel about these Carolina Panthers. Now, if you've been tuned in to C3 Legion Spaces, and if you haven't, shame on you, but you should be. On Mondays at 6:30 and on Thursdays at 6:30. I've been saying repeatedly that Dan Morgan is going to continue to churn the bottom of this roster. And even today, what did we see? More churning in the underbelly of this Panthers roster. We continue to move guys around as we search for those dogs or hidden gems. Either way, it's going to take a lot of churn and going through a lot of different guys to find the right guys that fit this system and fit this locker room and fit the mentality that Dave Canales and Dan Morgan are looking for. So stay tuned, guys. We might find a diamond in the rough. It may just happen for these Carolina Panthers. You never know. So stay tuned to C3 and the Friday Free for All to get all your latest Panthers news. Let's go, Coach.
Let's go. And you know how we know anything can happen? Because the Panthers signed a Clemson wide receiver today. Deion Kane was signed to the team. So, you never know. Maybe it might snow this afternoon. You truly do never know. Panther Pickle back on the Free For All. Pickle, what's up? I heard you might break some news tonight, maybe. Potentially.
Yeah, maybe. I heard from a local news reporter here in Bristol. I don't know how true or what this is. He's a Panther fan. How's that? I know he's a Panther fan. I've chatted with him before. He claims that there's a strong possibility Andy Dalton could retire before the season.
Oh.
Now, we did add a second quarterback to the practice squad.
Yeah.
Use your own judgment on whether you choose to believe that.
Yeah, John. Yeah,
I'm not telling you it's fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you it's fact, but it's out there. How's that?
Yeah. Hey, listen, we've seen stranger things happen. You know, famously, Andrew Luck quit right before their season 2 and got booed out of his own stadium for it. I don't think Andy would receive that level of vitriol, but yeah, man, happy to have you. Next up, you know we got my man, 910 Kyle in the building. Kyle, what's up, brother? How you been, man?
Hey, Cody, how we doing, buddy? Great. Just happened to be on the Friday show. Normally I'm at work, so nice to be on it.
Awesome, dude. Happy to have you, man. And remember, if y'all would like to join, the link is pinned to the top of the stream. We got 4 extra spots if you would like to jump on and be a part of the discussion. 2 more intros, and then we'll get it rolling. Next up, my man, my Clemson fan brethren, is Trigger Smitty up in the building. Trigger, what's up, dude?
Yo, C3 fan, what up? Y'all good?
Yes, sir. How you living, man?
Man, listen. After 507 days, they just took this thing off my ankle, so everything good on this side. I'm ready to talk some Panther football, man. That's how I'm celebrating my first free weekend with y'all, man.
Hey, man, you celebrating your free weekend on the Free For All. That's lit, brother. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. But happy for you, man. Appreciate you. And next up, we have Nick Tri-State. Nick, what's up, brother?
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing tonight?
Appreciate y'all having me on. Hey, chilling, man. I'm waiting for this poker tournament to start, so I figured I gotta hopefully hop on and chop it up with y'all about some Panthers real quick before it starts.
Yeah, I love that, man. Win some money tonight, man. That's what you should.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah, boy. So, hey, man, y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Gentlemen, the first order of business up on the docket. Out of all of the players that the Panthers signed off of waivers, which we did a lot, we signed 3 corners off of waivers. Who were some of the names that stuck out to you the most, if any? And do you agree with the way Dan Morgan and Dave Canales handled this? They ended up letting go of Jalen Coker and Jake Matthews, only to get them back on the roster, on the practice squad, and we were able to add some depth to that cornerback room. Gentlemen, what were y'all's thoughts? And I'll pull up a list of the names.
I'm gonna go first real quick if you don't mind. I was going to say Jarrett Kingston because he's a guard that can play multiple positions, and he was a draft pick. But I watched a video roughly about an hour, 30 minutes ago about Jamie Sheriff, the edge rusher we signed from Seattle. This gentleman is 6'1", 265 pounds, and he moves very sharp. I watched a video of him, and Seahawks fans were irate that they didn't get him or keep him. And I would love to see a guy like that come in and destroy opposing offenses. Like the Saints. Would that be pretty if you destroy the Saints offensive line just get at Derek Carr? We'd all be walking out here saying, Sheriff, the new sheriff in town.
Go ahead.
I like Bartholomew and Keenan Isaac strictly because we definitely need some corner help. And Bartholomew shows some good instincts, and he has size, and he has speed. He has good range, so he'll be interesting for me, and Keenan Isaac too. I also agree with on Sheriff. He's an interesting prospect. He's a unit, 6'1", 265. That's a massive man. So under some good coaching, some good coaching and some willpower, maybe some good things could come out of that. You never know. We need some diamonds in the rough.
We really
desperately
do. Go ahead, Trey.
Desperately need some diamonds in the rough, man. I like all 3 corners that we signed. I was like yesterday, I was checking my phone, refreshing it like every 30 minutes to see if Coker cleared wire. So of course I love Coker. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't mention my Clemson boy, man. Like we got Deon Cain in the building, man. Like we don't win that first national championship without Deon Cain.
Nope.
So if we can get him back to the level he was at Clemson, he was part of that wide receiver U conversation at one point. I don't know what really happened, but I'm ecstatic, man. Definitely ecstatic.
Yeah, he was a high-rated guy coming out of college, and he did a lot for us, man. He really did. I'm hoping that this will get something and get him on this team making some plays.
When I watched that preseason game last week against the Bills, he looked like his old self.
Yeah, he really did. He looked like he can still go out there and make some damage happen. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm hoping that we give him an opportunity. Diesel Skills, what did you make of some of these initial moves, man? I know you and I spoke a little bit on Twitter, but what did you think of Dan Morgan and how they ended up constructing this roster?
Right. So the first thing that pops out to me that I find interesting is how the narrative has changed, right? So we had multiple shows on here and conversations, Cody, where we talked about this cornerback room, and you kept ringing the alarm chiming the bell, let people know, hey, this cornerback room is not complete. Yeah. This cornerback room is not where it needs to be to get the Panthers ready for this season. We don't have the depth or the talent in that cornerback room to make it through this year. Well, we watched the preseason games play out. We saw Lamar Jackson playing well. We saw Jamison, Boo, other guys that are no longer on the team playing quite well for the Panthers. We thought, okay, well, maybe it's not as bad as what we were led to believe. Maybe this quarterback room is going to be just fine. Well, guess who didn't think it was fine? The Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers turned around, cleaned out that cornerback room and the depth within it, and brought in all guys over 6'1". They have a type, if you will, and they are looking for a certain kind of product on the field, and they're going to churn through some of these guys. And I've been saying, and pay close attention. Now, we brought in all these different guys, but don't expect all of them to be here in 2 weeks. There'll be at least 3 of them gone and 3 more brought in within the next 2-week period. I promise you that much, because they know what they're looking for, and they're sifting through these athletes to find the right fit for this team. And we're talking about guys that are third-string depth, so it's not like they're immediate contributors. Now, the trade for Mark Jackson, absolutely, that was an immediate contributor. That was a move that had to be made. And it was a great deal by Dan Morgan. We can get into that more later. But for me, the biggest move they made was bringing back Jordan Matthews. His impact in the preseason and his dedication to the Panthers, getting on the training field 30 minutes early before each and every practice, showed me what kind of player that is, and a player that we want to mentor that tight end. And I've talked on and on about Ian Thomas, and fans have too, and their disdain for him to still be on this team. But he's out with a mysterious, air quote, calf injury. And the honest truth that I think me and Pickle uncovered is the fact that Ian Thomas is still here because of his cap hit. We're playing with a tiny amount of cap right now, maybe 6 million or so. And what we're trying to do is hold Ian Thomas on this roster to the effect that we don't take the $2 million cap hit, which would eat up a third of what we have available. So I don't think that he's going to be that big of a contributor. Now, if he's a major run blocker week 1 versus the Saints, well, then fine, I was wrong. But I think he's being held on the roster because of his cap hit. And Jordan Matthews is the guy that should be in the game, backed up by our rookie, Jadeveon Sanders. And it just depends on how Tommy Trimble's health is going. It's hard to say for me. It seems to me like he's missed too many reps to start week 1. But that's just my personal opinion. So Jordan Matthews coming back was a big add for that tight end room, in my opinion.
Yeah, all great points. And I like what you said about the cornerback room. And listen, don't y'all think that Dave and Dan deserve some commending? Because, listen, I had some time to think about it. Originally, I was mad that they cut Jalen Coker, which they did end up bringing him back. But, that I saw how they were willing to just gut this room to make it better, stronger, longer, and more physical. Like, I appreciate that. They saw this roster and said that it wasn't enough. And Deez, you were right. I've been ringing the bell that this cornerback room has been very thin for a long time. And they were able to flip some good players and, continue to build this team without losing too much. It's also pretty wild that the Panthers are going to start a veteran corner in Mike Jackson, who we acquired from the trade from Seattle. We sent Michael Barrett over there, and he was immediately cut and placed on their practice squad after going through waivers. So, dude, the Panthers, Dan Morgan, you have to credit him, man. He saw that there was a need to build this room, and they pulled out all the stops to make that happen. And I'm more comfortable about this defense now than I was. There's still a lot of unknowns, but I feel better about it now than I did before, specifically in the backfield. How do y'all feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Like you talk about, like Jamie Sheriff was probably my favorite pickup, just because of his size And I like his story that, about 5 weeks ago, he was a beer delivery driver in Mississippi. That's pretty funny. So
that is pretty funny.
But my big thing is I feel like every single person in that front office is on the same wavelength, and they all understand that there's not a safe position. Like, we can't just go into a season or into an off season or any point in time can we go, well, we're good here and we're good here and we're good here and these guys are great, so we don't need to. No, that's the wrong mindset. Like, if they're good, that means you need to add good players there, because it's going to challenge them, and you're going to build, depth that way. So
yeah,
I like that he adds in every position. And
I'm
definitely last thing I want to say, I'm definitely glad you got your Clemson guy, even though he's on the practice squad. So
yeah, thank you, man. Now maybe if we can play with him on the field, maybe that'll be a step in the right direction.
Real quick, Cody, just to let everybody know, Dee's mentioned the cap. We are actually 6 something million negative in the red on cap. Expect Tillis and Dan to get that figured out very quickly. If it's not figured out, some of the penalties the NFL can bestow, they don't really do it, but they can, is penalties up to $5 million per violation. They can void contracts themselves. And if the NFL agent comes here to void contracts, they'll pick the highest guy on the roster and void the contract.
That's Taylor Moton, right?
Yes. They'll just send an email to the Panthers and say Taylor Moton's no longer employed. His contract's been voided, and he's free to sign with anybody else who has cap.
That's wild.
Right.
Just,
I think Tillis will figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I don't know that they've ever done that. I don't know. I don't think the NFL's ever done that. And there's been loads of opportunities for them to do that. So, how many years did the Saints go bad in cap? The Browns, all that. So, I'm sure there's a couple restructures they'll do, and all of a sudden everything's hunky dory. So,
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, that's dude, I cannot wait for a day when the Panthers are not drowning in dead cap money.
Right. And I think we're going to have some more dead cap next year. Because the one thing that I like about Tillis, and I mentioned on Spaces, and I don't mean to change the subject, but and shout out to me, C3 Legion. We're going to do a video here in the next couple of days involving this. Me and Deez and Harto, who else? And Cole but our desire, but what the situation is, in the past, in years past, under Gettleman and Hurney and Scott, they all took the dead cap that you get when you cut a player, and they stretch it out so many years so it's not all at once. Well, Tillis didn't do that. Tillis took it all one lump year. That way, next year we don't have any that carry over, and that way, the dead cap we get next year by cutting some more of the dead weight, the next year after that we shouldn't have any. The way the contracts are wrote out now, they're slowly getting them contracts out of the way that naturally produce dead cap.
Did any of y'all watch the interview with Dan Morgan and Brent Tillis?
Yeah.
Did you guys read through some of that?
Yeah.
So there's a part in that interview where somebody asked Brent Tillis, like, how long does it take to rebuild, or how much are you looking at decisions that you made today affecting you down the road, and how many years do you look? And he says, every team is different, but generally you're looking to kind of make moves that affect you in a 2 to 3 year period. Yep. And again, I'm paraphrasing here, but I basically saying that you have to adjust to what your roster needs are now, and I'm hoping that he can get us out of some of this dead cap hell. Let me go to my man Cole back on the free for all. Cole, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Cody Lex? Good to be back as always, man. We got this one, we got one more, and then the one after that, my friend, is going to be some live action review. We are almost time for some real football, Cody. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. And we have another special guest entering the show. None other than the voice himself, Codizzle Allen. CK, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
What up, CK?
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Just
What up, CK?
Wonderful.
you know, we're just out here living dreams, brother. We're just figured
Yes, sir.
what I do is so the wife's out, the kids are preoccupied, so I figured to hop on here, play some Madden while you guys talk
Absolutely.
and everything. And so, hey, guilty
Undefeated combo, CK. Madden and Biden.
Yeah, man. CK, what were some of your initial thoughts on some of the moves that we made? Well, hey, let me go in order. Let me get Cole first, and then I'll let you go, CK. Cole, what did you think of the way Dan Morgan handled getting so many different big, strong corners on our roster and essentially admitting that everyone else that was here just wasn't going to cut it?
I love it because that's one of the positions I was bitching about most, Cody. And I posted Joe Persons a little clip of it. I didn't post his whole article, and then I tagged him in it, and he had a little brief back and forth with me. I said, "You were nice about it, Joe." I said, "But I'm gonna just say it like it is. I am glad these little ass corners are getting out of here for some serious size. You can't put them on an island out there against some of these receivers in the league, and that's why our corners have been getting beat up for 5 years outside of JC, who can't get on the field. But other than that, I'm tired of it, so I'm ready for some change with our cornerbacks. I'm embracing it."
Yeah, I am too. I think that they made a lot of moves and getting players that other teams wanted. So Tom Pelissero put out a tweet saying the most popular player on waivers was former Jets corner Shamar Bartholomew, who was claimed by the Panthers, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Saints all had interest in him, but the boys came in and swooped him away. They really did take advantage of that being number one on waiver wires. CK, what did you make of these moves, man? A lot of these were very to the point, but they also did some shuffling, man. Like, we were all a fan of Jake Matthews. He was cut, but we were able to bring him back to the practice squad. Same with Jalen Coker. What were your thoughts on some of these initial moves?
Well, first, I'm just going to go back to before we started, when we had our initial roster prior to training camp, we were talking about what is the position group that most worries us. And I said from day one, it was the cornerback group. Yeah. Because it just felt like we just had a bunch of people at cornerback that just didn't really make you excited outside of JC Horn. And I think that they fixed the problem? I don't know. I still, I'm hoping that there's something, but this confirmed to me that the actual front office and the coaching staff actually felt the same way, just based on their clear focus by trading, picking up. I mean, like, we have 5 corners on the roster that weren't on the roster when training camp started. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of turnaround. But, to sort of echo what Cole was saying, we've been through the years of Dante Jackson and a few other guys that have ultimately just been too small to play the position, man. I liked when Dave Gettleman once upon a time said, "Big men help you win." And I just believe that to be true at every level of the game, man. And I think that Dan Morgan knows that. And they're trying to really put that top-tier speed and athleticism on this defense. We do have another issue concerning our defense that we'll get into next. But, hey, man, let me welcome my man Poppin from the Black Cat Panther Podcast. Pop, what up, brother?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling? Hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend so far.
What's up, Pop?
Pop, how you feeling, man?
What's up, man?
Man, well, I'm hot because I'm sitting outside. It's humid as hell. But, yeah, man, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. chilling, man.
I feel you, man. But what did you make of Dan Morgan throwing out all of the corners that we had, throwing them out with the used goods and getting basically a whole new cornerback room?
Well, it was something that they pretty much premeditated, or not premeditated, but they kind of did premeditate, said that they were going to do it, because when they went to get the running back, they started noticing all the corners started going, and that's when they went and got a tight end. So it was like, okay, well, we're going to have to find something. And then, eventually Chaucer Smith Wade was there. He was probably the best available at the time. But they had been saying that they wanted to get corners. It was just the guys that they wanted. They can start flying off the board. These guys that they brought in, I like Keenan Isaac. I like Bartholomew.
Yeah.
Bartholomew, he looks like 3 inches taller than DJ Moore, but with the same build. I mean, the man can jump out the sky. He's athletic. He can hit. He's fast.
A bunch of teams wanted him too. The Saints wanted him. The Chargers wanted him, and we stole him away from all of them.
But think about this too, Cody. Think about how Dan Morgan and the guy that does the money. Think about what they said to get him. Yeah, Brant Tillers. What you think they said to get him in here? I bet you they told those guys, both of them, even the ones that the other guys that they signed that came from Clemson. They told these guys that you have a potential to be a starter if you work for it. And that's any of those other teams. I'm pretty sure they didn't tell them that, because they have pretty good corners. You have a chance to be a starter corner here if you put the effort and time right now to be that guy. Gonna be that number 2. And then now that we don't know if J.C. Horn is gonna pan out because we haven't seen it yet. So once again, it leaves with a slight chance in your mind that, hey, I might be able to come in to be the next guy up.
Yeah. I mean, I like all of these guys for their potential. Again, I just don't know a ton about them, so I'm still kind of in the same place I was. I like that they're a little bit bigger and more physical than the other guys. But, again, I really don't know much about, them other than, Michael Jackson, who I'm excited about. We got a starter out of him, and Bennett, or Barrett, rather, he's just made the Seattle practice squad. Dan's been making moves, and I like the fact that they were honest enough to say, this is not the room that we want to start the season with. And I think that you have to be able to commend them for that, for being able to say, hey, man, this is not it. We need to adjust. And I think they navigated that in a pretty good way. I don't know what else better they could do.
Do y'all I just want to curious if any of the guys, we want to hear from everybody. Do y'all think that they looked at the teams, the great offenses that we're going against this year, that they thought about how we're going to be placed? If they kept the same corners, right? Do you think they took that in consideration? Like, you know what, this is the reason why we got to change these corners, because of the wide receivers that we're going against this year?
What do y'all think? Do y'all think that we had no choice but to make this just because the offenses?
I agree.
No, I think
I agree.
We'll go Trig and then Cole. Go ahead, Trig.
I think when you look at all the quarterbacks we playing and the receivers, I mean, yeah, that played a factor, but I feel like Canellis and Morgan were really transparent. They're living off what they actually said they was gonna do. I mean, we've been hearing it for years, but they actually doing it. We're gonna be competitive with our roster. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bring guys in to compete. We're gonna bring in some dogs. You know what I'm saying? So whether or not, you know what I'm saying, we was playing good guys, bad guys, I think these guys are just gonna do everything they could to turn around this roster.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too, man. Go ahead, Cole.
Cody, you hit it right on the head a minute ago for me. I do commend them for realizing that that's not what they could trot out there week 1 for our cornerbacks, and I really do appreciate that, because I've seen entirely too many seasons where we would just be okay and then play oblivious as hell and march some cornerbacks out there starting to have no business out there, and we just act like it's okay and nothing was wrong and nobody saw it coming. So I love the approach that they're attacking and being proactive to try to fix this before the season starts.
Yeah,
I do.
Can I address Trape or Trap X in the chat? They did. His name's Sheriff.
one less cornerback and grab on to an edge. What edge did they grab?
They did. It's a
Jamie
guy named
Sheriff.
Jamie Sheriff from Seattle. And he and just a little bit of tape I watched from a Seattle fan complaining that they should have kept him. Looked pretty good. So that's all I know. And
I like those kind of videos, people.
So exactly. And to answer Pop's question, I think that has a lot to do with it, but I also think they looked at what they had and said, this is dog duty. What we do in waiver can't be worse than what we got. So that's what they did. And I'm like Cole, I applaud that because we've spent too many years under Fitterer and Gettleman and Herney that put out nothing but BS, and they knew at the beginning of the season it was BS, and they didn't have the balls. Dan Morgan did. So.
Yeah.
Love and appreciate it, Pickle. I can't express that enough.
Yep.
Cody, this is me just having your back right here for a second. I didn't want Jamie Sheriff. I think he's another run stuffer. I think he can get to the quarterback. But I was really pulling for your boy KJ Henry. That's who I want. I want a KJ Henry, and I want a Siaka Ika, the D tackle / nose tackle. He's 335 pounds, 6'6". I mean, if some way that what's his name doesn't get it done at our nose tackle, which he's a little lighter, he's like 322. What's the big boy name? Tuttle.
Shot Tuttle.
You have Siaka.
Yeah, Tuttle.
Yeah, you got Siaka. Yeah, you got Siaka right behind him, and you can groom and put him right behind him.
Yeah,
I'm with you on the KJ Henry, man. I was like, that's definitely a guy.
I do agree to that one. I wanted him myself, but
I did too.
So.
But I'm not. I'm used to them not signing Clemson players. That's why I was surprised when they went and did get Deion Kane. But go ahead, Kyle, and then I'm going to pose this question differently. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the last names of Sheriff and Bartholomew, I mean, hopefully they
Sheriff Bartholomew.
Correct girls.
But let me ask you all this though. Dave Canales, when he did his press conference, he basically came out and said verbatim that we don't know who the edge is going to be opposite of Jadeveon Clowney. And, man, that's a problem right now, man. Like, that is the other half of your pass rush on your D-line. Like, that's your edge. And we don't know who that guy's going to be. Like, man, that's tough, man.
I mean,
why not get KJ, who's actually a pass edge rusher? That's what his specialty is. I didn't understand why they didn't go get him.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know either. What do y'all think the answer is going to be here at that position?
Ain't no answer right there. It's just going to be a hole.
I believe that they're going to put out CJ Johnson. I just believe that's who they want to stick out there. Now, at the same time, though, to be real, it's also a problem for the Saints because the Saints don't know who to plan to defend. The Saints absolutely don't know who to plan to defend. They know Clowney's going to be there. They know our D-line's going to be there. They're going to say, okay, which other edge rusher do we think we're going to put out there? And they absolutely have no idea who. So it's going to be a bigger problem for them than it is for us.
And their offensive tackles are terrible at pass blocking, Pickle.
And hey, real quick, let me welcome in our official San Francisco 49ers correspondent. We have Gammon back on the show. Gammon, it's been a while. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Doing better today and yesterday than I was for about 4 months with the whole Brandon Ayuk saga now finally behind us.
Oh yeah.
Take a breath, my friend. It's over.
Where's the paper bag? I've been.
I know, right? I understand. I'd be the same way.
Yeah. Every time I was going through the grocery aisle, paper or plastic, I was like, paper, please. At least one bag.
So are you happy with how that situation ended with Ayuk?
And is he worth the money?
Yes, he's worth the money, I think, for the franchise signing him. I think when I was on here last time and you guys were asking about what it would take to acquire him, another team would have had to have given us, what was it? The Browns needed to give us Amari Cooper, a second and third round pick, and then give him the exact same contract that we were giving him. So
Denver.
Yeah,
If
so
I heard about that pick. Well, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I heard Denver held the trade up.
Yeah,
And that's why he didn't go to Pittsburgh.
From my understanding, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, or if you've heard something else, they were going to send Ayuk to the Steelers. The Steelers were going to send the picks, but the 49ers were going to send a third-round pick to Denver for Sutton, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Denver said no, and that stopped the whole trade there.
Basically, what it was coming down to is, and look, the 49ers are a little bit long in the tooth when it comes down to this, the run that they're going on. I like to liken them to the Detroit Pistons teams back in the late 80s, early 90s, but without any of the championships. They have a very loaded roster, but they're very much in a win now situation. So yeah, in order for it to work with Steelers, in order to sweeten the deal, there's going to have to be another player along with that, because just getting picks for next year wasn't going to help.
Do you feel like the Trent Williams debacle is going to be figured out before the beginning of the season?
No, but I do think, probably by week 2, I think that he'll be playing whatever he's asking for. Right. It's rightly
deserved. He's the best offensive tackle in the league.
Well,
Maybe
yeah, I mean,
what
of all time, that, yeah, exactly. And then also too, whenever people say who are the top 5 players, NFL players, regardless of their position, you'll always see Patrick Mahomes will be number 1, and then somewhere in that top 5 will be Trent Williams. Yeah, and when you have a monster offensive lineman, even though it's only 1 of 5, it allows somebody like CMC to really just break free. I didn't have to rhyme there,
but without him on the field, don't you feel like that's going to cause this offense to take a mass? I mean, when you saw what happened to Brock Purdy in preseason, that's got to be a concern.
Immensely. I mean, you're talking about one of the reasons why the NFL agreed or was in congruence to bring in 3 quarterbacks, right? Like maybe they only had to have 2 on the actual 53-man roster, but you're allowed to have a third one. Right. Just kind of there, was because of kind of what we literally ran out of quarterbacks. I think we went through 5 quarterbacks that year. We went to the NFC Championship against the Eagles. So if you're asking me if I'm concerned about it, I don't even know if I can even use the word concerned. I don't want to go biblical, but it's kind of a big deal. Not just for Brock Purdy having your left tackle, your blind side, but also too for Christian McCaffrey.
Man.
Yeah. So I did have a player I wanted to ask you a question about while we had you. We picked up former 49ers guard Jarrett Kingston. And I'm hearing that 49ers fans are like really upset about this. Why are you guys so upset about this? And what could we potentially be gaining in Jarrett Kingston?
Awful. Just awful. I mean, to say again, like when you said concerned about our if we didn't have Trent Williams, to say that we're upset about not having Jarrett Now, here's the thing. I don't think Jarrett Kingston is ready year 1, but like some good chicken, he just needs a little bit of seasoning, right?
Yeah.
And then he'll be, I think he's really like a year 2 or year 3 developmental player. We have a lot of, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how to explain it, what you guys want me to say, but we are for a team that knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl and definitely NFC championships, right? And we know how important the offensive line is. I think you guys know how probably important having a good offensive line is as well.
Sir.
Yeah, we're I mean, gosh, we didn't trade or get anything. I mean, just it's disgusting. We're not happy.
What was it specifically that you liked about him? Was it just because you guys are thin on that line, or was it what was it about his play that made you say, "Oh, this guy could be something"?
The thing is, we're actually very light in the loafers when it comes down to the tackle and center position. Yeah. We're actually heavy and deep at the guard position where we lost him. My thing is that we have a guy named Aaron Banks, who I think as a guard who plays adjacent to Trent Williams, who, again, we're not going to be able to afford a lot of. Free agency is going to be a real deal next year for the 49ers. And what I think he would have been just an absolute great replacement for our second round pick. And Jarrett just would have been, I mean, you're talking about just an athletic, physical guard that's really needed, especially with how well these defensive players are coming out of college. I think we'd all agree that it seems like colleges are saying, hey, you played really great offensive tackle in high school, but if you want to be a first round pick, come play defensive end or defensive tackle for us over at, and so you have some of these most athletic guys there, and he can really, like I said, I mean, he's a season or two away. It hurts all the way around. I mean, he's somebody we really felt like we should have got some compensation for. I don't know why they thought that he would slip. When I saw that he went to the Panthers, this was the immediate first podcast I could think of. I was just like,
nice.
Unbelievable. I know, honestly.
You still owe us a lot, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's about time we get something good from you guys. Yeah.
Yes, my friend.
A little more than that.
Can't say as I felt sorry for you.
No.
It's like when we get eventually we'll get something back from the Bears.
Yeah.
And God forbid, God help the Bears if the Panthers beat them this year.
Yeah.
Because we are going to go ballistic on the Bears fans.
I hope you guys do.
It might be worse than some division rivalry shit.
Yeah, I believe it will be.
Because it's got really ugly with them. I don't like them.
Yeah, somebody said in one of the comments about him being
you get so much good stuff in 49ers. I'm like, man, we're the ones suffering. I mean, y'all just nailed a guy who just got like 1,700 yards. Like, we don't have nobody of that caliber. And I'm just like, he's
Not
like,
yet.
oh, we lost a guard.
He's on the roster, but he's
a lot. We lost
injured right now.
We lost Brian Burns. I can go on and on.
I'm not exactly what it feels like, but I'm gonna date myself on this one. So any of you guys who are only 20 years or below, you're probably not going to get this reference. But in the very first Mighty Ducks movie, this is how far back
now
I'm
you're
going.
talking my era. Let's go.
Yeah. But I can't remember what that one hockey team was that wore all black. I'm going to call them the Falcons.
The Hawks, baby.
The Hawks.
Yeah,
And so they were a stacked team, right? And they lost this kid that went to
Adam Banks.
Adam Banks. No, I mean, it didn't really affect their team, really. I mean, they were locked, stocked, and solid, right? Like they shouldn't have been, but it pissed them. It hurt. It pissed when they lost. They were going to be fine, really. I mean, if it wasn't a Disney feel-good movie, that team would have just steamrolled everybody still, even without. But that doesn't mean that doesn't hurt. Like, you don't know what you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I would liken him to like Banks, but instead of him being Banks right now, it's like, hey, in 2 years. I mean, you could see, that kind of development with him. I remember when we got Terrell Owens, and he was a third-round pick. You kind of saw a lot of those things that are in there. It's hard to be an absolute man-child when you're like a teenager, early 20s, coming into the NFL, and you have to go up. You're not going to just stand up guys like Aaron Donald and stuff like that in the trenches, right? Like, you got to have a little bit of seasoning to you. and you're also too going to see a lot of different things that you're not used to seeing in college. But yeah, I mean, if I were to say sky's the limit, we're the Hawks. We lost not a 99 overall like Banks, but you're going like, man, this kid, and he could have probably gone to a better franchise, but it hurt.
Yeah,
hurt a lot.
Well, no, that was great insight there. I mean, I know a lot of 49er fans were very upset that you lost.
we were beyond upset. We were looking out.
I can tell. So listen, we'll open up the conversation to everyone for this one. The Ringer put out an article of the teams with the best chances to go from worst to first. And bro, would y'all believe it or not?
We better not have been last.
The Carolina Panthers are number 2.
Let's go. I'll take it.
Only behind the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, you can't really
Now,
argue with that, Cody.
Most of it is they're saying the person who writes this says, I'm betting on the draft pedigree of Bryce Young, the track record of the new head coach as an offensive mind, and the mediocrity of the division.
Absolutely.
Could 8 wins be enough to claim the NFC South on tiebreakers? I think so. The likelihood that Young will turn into an elite quarterback is slim when you consider just how bad this rookie campaign was from an efficiency standpoint. However, could Canales help elevate Young into a league average quarterback in year 2? Then they go on to sort of recount some of the stuff that Canales has done. Boys, it's a free-for-all. I'm just going to let y'all jump in on this.
I want to say this one thing because
go ahead.
Your guys' podcast, but I'm going to throw my forecasting into this.
Okay.
It's incredible when you don't have any offensive play callers, and then all of a sudden you get some offensive play callers, and when they believe in that quarterback and that quarterback gains some self-esteem. I want you guys to think about these two quarterbacks right here. Alex Smith for the 49ers, absolutely dead in the water. We were trying to run him out of town, and then he plays for Harbaugh, and he all of a sudden turns his career around. Then he plays for that young man in Kansas City, or that old man, that cheeseburger eating guy. I'm not going to say their name. And he almost has an MVP season. The second comment that I'm going to make before I go ahead and click the little X button there in my upper right-hand corner is the young man, the quarterback, Tua, in Miami. All of a sudden he got Mike McDaniel, and you saw how Tua was talking about how awful it was for the previous coach they had. Now he's got Mike McDaniel, and he's almost having like an MVP season until he gets injured. So I would leave it. That's my, for what it's worth, 2 cents in my perspective. You guys have a great one. Thank you.
Cameron, thanks so much for your time, brother. Anytime.
Yeah, man. Don't Cody, y'all used to have him on Tuesday night show.
Yeah. Whenever, if we play the 49ers again, man, we have to get you on the show. Hey, maybe it'll be in the playoffs this year. We can hope.
I'll take a wild card. I'll take an 8-win wild card game, Cody.
Yeah. Nobody thought Green Bay was going to be in there last year, and they absolutely blew the brakes off of the Cowboys. So you never know.
Always nice to see the Cowboys get the brakes beat off of them.
Most delusional
it's
fan
usually
base
in
ever.
clutch situations.
Yes,
absolutely. I live for shit like that.
But Gammon, do the man. Appreciate you. And let me welcome my brother Jake the Snake. Jake, what up?
What up, y'all?
Did you get them burgers done?
Oh yeah, I'm you know what I'm about to do.
Bring out that
you know what I'm about to do.
So,
hey man, that's bad for your health. Ain't you too young to drink that?
Hey man, so let me just open this up to y'all. What are the chances that Carolina can go from worst to first? Like, they literally have us ranked number 2 behind the Bengals to go from worst to first. What do we
think? It's just pointless preseason talk, man.
We
got to
realize
much
longer, my friend. We
don't got that much longer, but we still in the building year. It's the first year in the new system. You know what I'm saying? Edge rush is a problem, and we playing some pretty tough quarterbacks that can pick you apart if you can't rush them. So, I mean, we still have gaping holes. The depth is not where it needs to be. We're injury away from being like really in trouble. Whether it's Clowney, whether it's Bryce, whether it's Thielen or Deontay. So, like, it's just not there yet. Personally, for me, we need that 5. We need that top 5 pick this year. Get us a good draft, and then next year we can take the division.
Well,
For the first time, I feel like we're one good offseason away.
I just feel like
on top of what we did this year.
The big thing is before the offseason started, even before we knew who the head coach was going to be, and before we knew who was going to be, the general manager and all these other pieces, we didn't have a plan or a clue. Everyone here knew, all these Panthers fans, everybody on Twitter, everybody knew that we were going to have to do some sort of a rebuild, and everybody knew that we were not going to be able to fix everything in 1 year. So, I mean, let's keep those expectations at a respectable level, But at the same time, we have made a lot of really good moves, but we have a lot more to do. So,
there's definitely a lot more to do. But I mean, it's hard because theoretically it's possible. But we said this shit last year, and we were so damn wrong, y'all. My God, it's like after a while, you get tired of getting dunked on, man. This division has been bad for a while.
That's why
everybody's sort of predicting Atlanta, but I don't know, man.
I still think it's a bad division, Cody.
One game at a time.
Are y'all gonna trust Kirk Cousins for 17 weeks?
Yeah, Cody, shut the fuck up. We're gonna win this whole thing.
That's what Dan Morgan and that's what Dave Canales said.
9 and 10 wins, baby.
And that's what I'm going to do.
To the moon.
I wasn't so high on
if you get to
last year.
7 to 8, I got to start thinking about it because that can get us in the ball game.
Bro, I want some of whatever Kev's sipping on. He got that moon.
I ain't giving us 9.
I just bought me a PS5. Is what I'm sipping on, baby. Woo!
I don't know what he's sipping on. He's sipping on some stuff stronger than what I'm sipping on.
PS5
I want some what Cody's sipping on, thinking that Clemson gonna beat Georgia. That's what I want.
Hey, don't get disrespectful up in here now, bro. I'll tell you right out.
Pickle, didn't we have that long talk with him about the game console, and he still went and got a PS5?
Yeah, he did.
Hey, my heart was with my heart, man.
You could have saved money in it. You could have saved money and had a better console.
My heart is with my heart, bro.
He can't help it. The people from South Carolina, that's what
we have higher expectations.
They
South Carolina have higher expectations.
Hell yeah! We gonna win 9 wins.
You ain't got no damn expectations.
You don't got no you talking about you gonna beat Georgia? Shut the fuck up! I don't hear about your expectations.
I can't wait for the college show to start. Y'all wait for
y'all gonna get your ass whooped,
bro.
Well, we're not playing
how
old
went last night, Cole?
Yo, K Cupcake couldn't even score a touchdown against us. You think you'll score against Georgia?
My quarterback.
Y'all couldn't even score an offensive touchdown against us. You gonna score against Georgia?
My quarterback don't need glasses. I know that's for sure.
Hey, Cupcake.
Kev, you better run from him if they beat Georgia, though. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I don't have to worry about it. I don't even have to worry. CK just sitting here, he don't know what to say.
I'm not a college fan, so
I will say that the guys I usually gamble with, I told them Panthers were going to win 7 wins, and I told them to pick a price on what they wanted to put on it, and they wouldn't take it. So at least there's a little bit of faith out there.
Shout out to my man Tony Gibson in the chat. He says you can play Xbox games on your phone. Get out of here, man. And I agree. I played Madden on my tablet.
Why would I want to play on my phone, though?
I played Madden 25 the other day on my tablet while I was doing the space on my computer.
I mean, I could do this on my phone and play on my TV.
Well,
hey, did y'all hear what
crystal clear 4K HD?
Did y'all hear what Chris Olave had to say?
Love it.
No.
Yeah,
he said Spencer Rattler's QB1.
Nobody wants to hear that dumb shit, Kev. Shut up.
Cody, since you're going to quickly do some Saint shit.
That's made you kind of stop and been like, oh, we're going to be good this year.
I mean,
it's okay if it was your own.
Yeah, not really.
Not really.
Has there been a play, whether an individual or team period out here that's made you kind of stop and been like, oh, we're going to be good this year?
I mean,
it's okay if it was your own.
Yeah, not really.
Let's go.
Did somebody in the chat say something about Michael Thomas being suspended week 1 too?
Yeah.
It is, but
He's
isn't
not even
he
on
a
the
free
team.
agent
Doesn't-
anyway?
that-
So
yeah,
why
it
does the
doesn't matter.
headline say Saints free agent Michael Thomas? And I knew he was a free agent all day, but that's the headline I kept reading all day.
I mean,
was
that's what he's
Saints
known
free
for, I
agent.
guess.
Can we talk
Yeah,
about
but
the
he's
biggest
a free
downfall
agent.
of a wide receiver on the planet?
Oh, because he was
Oh,
supposed to be
yeah.
the next whatever. CK, you can insert it. He was supposed
Remember
to be
they
a
paid
god.
him all that money. He was like, his name on Twitter was Can't Guard Mike.
His name is Slant Boy, Cody, and it's always been
Yeah,
that.
true that. Hey, real quick to my man, Alex Britt Panther. It says never understood the obsession with university sports over there. It's alien to me, brother. How about this?
It's territorial shit.
How about this though? If you can
College
believe
is
it or
better
not,
than pro.
well, yeah, but if you can believe it or not, college football is bigger than the
It's
NFL.
wilder.
even, man. It really
way
is. Like,
wilder.
consider that the biggest football stadiums in America, none of them are NFL stadiums.
Hell no.
All college. Ohio State, Alabama, LSU,
It's
Michigan,
damn near
Texas-
getting the 10
Texas A&M.
teams. They have over
Penn-
100,000 plus
Texas
seat
A&M,
stadiums, Cody.
Penn
It's crazy.
State. Yeah, they're all like 100,000+ seats, man. And again, it's so old now too that it's like your grandfather was a fan of the team that you're
Yeah.
pulling for. You know what I mean? It's like some real bloodline shit.
Or
over
your
here.
family went to school there.
Oh, dude, but also the rivalries too, like Alabama, Auburn, Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, I would say Clemson, South
UNC
Carolina, but that's not
UNC
really
and
much
winning.
of a rivalry.
Yeah,
if
a
I'm
lot
being
of the
because we normally beat the hell out of them, you know.
a lot of your college ball are more freer to voice their opinions. The players are than they are in the pros, because the professionals league is run by 5 billionaires or by 31 billionaires, and they rule the roost. Them 31 individuals rule the roost. They just
Yeah.
do. I mean, they make the
I
rules.
like college
they
because
create the rules and
they
the rules.
play harder. They trying to get to that next
Oh, yeah.
level.
They try
Yeah,
to get
You know
and
what I'm saying?
well.
They
and to
hungrier.
be
Instead of
honest,
getting
like
that money,
more
they get
all the wild shit happens in college football, like all the upsets that you would have never expected. Like that shit happens almost every Saturday.
Ain't no
Travis
salary
Hunter's
cap,
a
baby.
monster. Travis
Yeah.
Hunter's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, why the hell?
He's special as hell.
Hey, but
Yeah.
I'll tell y'all this about Travis Hunter. He could not stop Phil Maffa that's going to be running the ball down Georgia's throat tomorrow.
Hell no.
Hey, Cody.
Phil
Hey,
Maffa
Cody,
then destroyed him
put
in
up
the
my
state
picture.
championship.
Put up what?
Put up my picture in full screen.
But nobody can even see that shit.
Oh, man. You remember XL's hat? I got one.
The cowboy hat.
I got the cowboy hat with Charleston on it, though.
That's your hat.
Made by the same dude.
You from
Wow.
Tucktown?
Saying that, look at Kev.
Yeah, coming in tomorrow.
Okay, then.
Hey, real quick. What do y'all make of us going potentially worse to first? CK, get in on this.
Man, I think it's I think I'm gonna go a step further. I think that we're gonna go from worst to first. And I also think that Bryce Young potentially plays himself into the top 100.
Let's go, CK.
Whoa, all right.
I'll take the shit out of that answer. Let's go.
Y'all feeling frisky today on the free for all. All right.
Boy, if Bryce
It's the
make
division,
the
though,
top
Cody.
100,
And just
if
think,
Bryce make the top 100, they gonna hate me.
and just think, if we suck next year, we can just
I
trade
like
down
that,
with the Cowboys.
Oh, dude,
They
yeah.
gonna hate
'Cause, I mean, they're
me.
gonna be going after Shadur. Is that what somebody was saying?
Yeah.
Like, there was somebody
Who's
who
going
was
after
out there
Shadur?
that he
Cowboys.
was that he was more likely to be the Cowboys quarterback than Dak next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how many times have I been saying that? How many months have I been telling that?
Hey, man, if we
Somebody
suck
else.
next year, we can have a nice
Wait a
trade
minute,
package
so
for them.
Wait, does
Wait,
everybody
idiot.
just assume that the Cowboys are the worst team in the
No.
NFL?
No, they're
You're
gonna
gonna have to
trade
have a
up.
top 10 pick to get
No,
Go
no,
Shadur.
ahead,
no,
trade
go
that
straight
pick
up.
and give me CD and
Yeah,
Mike.
Yeah, we're going to trade that pick
If-
down for them
If,
All right.
his daddy
if we
approved it,
suck.
his daddy loves the Cowboys. The
Yeah.
Cowboys love him. It's
Jerry
all-
Jones loves him.
Jerry Jones will bend that ass all the way
Yeah,
back.
you
and get
will.
him
He
to-
loves him. He loves the Sanders.
Yeah, what is that? What is that?
They're not going to be in the top 10 pick. So they're going to have to give up so much just to
Oh
get him.
yeah.
And if you think about it, the best thing they had, they already signed. So what do you have to offer to get up there to that top 5? Because I believe he's going probably top 5.
He's gonna be like multiple
here's
first
what I
round
think.
picks, probably even Dak himself.
I think they'll offer Dak Prescott a couple first rounds and the edge rusher that they haven't re-signed yet.
What about I think Dak is a free agent, isn't he coming up?
They won't be able to offer Dak Prescott. He'll be in the free agent.
Okay, well, if they move up though, they can still offer
they can offer Dalvin Cook.
They can franchise tag him, can't they?
That would be a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Like Bryce has a good year, and then we can trade back.
They have nothing to offer but future picks. There's going to be
way
more better offers than that.
Yeah, but by the way,
I still think, just my opinion, I still think that there's a reason why they haven't re-signed their stud edge rusher is because I bet money that Jones would plan to use him as trade bait to move up to get that pick. Because somebody would give up a monster picks.
Absolutely, he's worth it.
So basically, y'all are wanting to do what the Bears did with us.
Yeah,
Why
that's
not?
Yes.
Why not?
Taking another
all right, but also
I don't
aren't
want us
y'all
to suck that bad though.
all right, yeah,
like.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, I
dude,
ain't
look,
doing that shit.
look. Yesterday, I gotta be honest, it kind of disgusted me a little bit, right? Everybody thinks I'm a hater, that I just want the Panthers to lose or some shit. But I'm looking all over Twitter. Oh, let's get Travis Hunter, future Panther. Oh, let's get blah, 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 future Panther. Let's go get James Pierce, future Panther. Like, hey, how about some fucking wins? Huh? Like, are we already accounting for draft picks right now? Like,
I am.
I see thinking like that, but
I'm not. I don't really. I personally don't think we're going to have a top pick.
But like,
I really don't. But
We need it.
I believe whoever has that top pick, the Cowboys are going to go get. And I believe Dion, with his mouth, and his son are going to play into the Cowboys realm by simply demanding that they're not going to these teams. They're going to go to this other team. They're not going to go, and the team that has that pick is going to feel in a wedge, and they're going to say, "Okay, Jones,
Dion's going to have to,
and you can have him, and I'll go somewhere else."
Hey,
He would.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake, and then Anthony. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say he wouldn't be the first quarterback that's ever done that though. Eli did it. Not only did Eli do it, who else did it?
And Shador would have the same scenario and circumstances, and that his dad is a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? He can kind of throw his weight around a little bit more, man. So I agree. Anthony, welcome to the Free for All, brother. What you got for me?
What's up? No, like I get your point, and I want to win just as much as my thing with the whole thing is like if we come out and we win 9 games next year, that better be the expectation the following year. Because I think it's either my mindset, and I'm like, this is just like if you're gonna be bad, you better be bad, and if you're gonna be good, like you better be good enough to go somewhere.
Sustain it.
Now,
That makes
Anthony,
sense.
you know we're
The major
doing that shit though.
no, but the
We suck
major
at doing
issue.
that.
The major issue with Matt Rule was you were right in the middle, where you didn't get the golden prize of a top pick, and you didn't get the golden prize of going to the postseason. So, like, that's all I'm saying. Like, if we are, if you know, we are in a situation where we're like, we got like 4 wins by like week 16. Bryce has had a good year, and we get like the number 2 pick. Well, like you might be smart to trade it back to like 6 and get like an extra first-round pick or something like that. But, you know, screw that. I mean, like, yeah, I'd love Travis Hunter, but, dude, if we can make the playoffs and host a playoff game, that's 100 times better, obviously. Just for the sanity of, like, that would be dope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
Cody, I don't want to suck that bad for that.
Like,
I do. One more year, because we need that long term. If we can get a new core of Bryce, another face of the franchise type player, and keep Derek Brown and keep J.C. Horn, that gives us 4 cornerstones to build upon. And we ain't had that since we had Cam, Olsen, TD, and Luke. Like, if we want sustained success, I want that top 5 pick. We need star power.
I'm with you too, and like this is what I called in a couple weeks ago. Like outside of putting my Panthers hat on, like I just can't predict the team to win the division of what I've seen in the past 7 years. Like if you're asking me what I bet my money on, I'd probably say like a 4, 5, 6 win season. But obviously every year I was optimistic. I thought we were gonna go far with Baker Mayfield. I was wrong, but you never know. Like if we win the division, like that's the best outcome anyways. That's the best outcome the team could possibly have for the fan base, for the city of Charlotte, for pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Well said.
I mean, we want long-term success though, right, guys? We want to be able to contend and win the division year after year, you know what I'm saying, and make that push and get a Super Bowl. So to me, nobody sees us really winning the division this year. So I mean, let's just go ahead and get that top 5 pick.
So Trey, let me ask you this, right? I got a lot of shit in 2020 because I wanted us to lose every game in order to get Trevor Lawrence, right? Okay. So with that said, is it to the point where you feel like we need a blue chip player so bad that if we get above a certain number of W's, that you're like, what are we doing, man? This is moving the wrong direction.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, kind of, bro. Because when we what was it when Wilkes took over, bro, and we started winning, I was pissed. I wasn't pissed, but I was, but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like the fan in me can never be mad at seeing the Panthers win, but wanting that pick and I mean, it didn't really matter because we ended up trading up anyway and still getting the number 1 pick. But I mean, we finished like 9th, right? And I was like, we could have easily finished 5th. Like if we had finished 5th, we would still probably have DJ Moore. We wouldn't have had to trade as much.
Well, let me. So I'll put it to you like this: that year that we fired Matt Rule and we made Steve Wilkes the interim head coach, you know, a lot of people wanted us to lose at the end because they felt like we weren't gonna be able to win the division. But my mindset was we were still in the running, and we were only like a game or 2 out at the time. I'm always of the mindset that if we have something to play for, I want to win, damn it. I want to win, and I want to win badly. I mean, I'm tired of cheering for a losing-ass football team. But dude,
Go ahead. Finish your point.
I'm just saying, like, if I know we're not going to be competing for something and we're winning pointless games at the end of the year, hurting our draft stock, then it's like, man, what the fuck are we doing? Like this.
No, there's a difference between like what Wilkes put us through than like what in 2019 when Ron won that game versus Washington and like we took us out of the Justin Herbert conversation.
Yes,
right? Like there's 2 different things with that. Like with Wilkes, we legitimately could have been a playoff team. Like with Ron Rivera, it was like, we were eliminated. Why are we trying to like go out here?
We always do that shit.
All the only thing we had to do was win that Tampa Bay game, right? We would have made it to the playoff the last game, the same game that J.C. Horn was out.
Yeah, we would have hosted the Cowboys at home.
On a 3-game win streak when we're out of the fucking playoffs and screw up our draft slot. I've seen it so many times in the history of being a fan. I feel you on that. You get these useless wins and they do you no good.
Y'all really don't expect these players just to lay down to get a higher draft pick.
You can't tell them to lose.
No,
you can't. And I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I've had these conversations with Anthony forever. I can't get on the suck for a higher draft pick mentality. I can't do it, and the reason why I can't do it is because I've watched the NFL for 30 years. Well, I'm 56, probably longer.
You've been a fan for that long, Pickle.
Anyway,
That's why.
I've been the Panther fan for 30 years, but I've watched football for years before that. I've seen too many coaches, seen too many GMs, seen too many organizations plan to get a higher pick for consecutive years to be great, and they're never. The Browns have been great for years, have had a top pick for decades, and they gave it all up to get one guy, and they still suck. Okay, and I mean for centuries, the Bengals were bad forever. Seemed like. Well, they got one good pick, and they flat out refused to trade it. They refused to trade it to David Tepper and all his money. They wasn't going to trade it because they.
Well, I ain't gonna say that. They got like three. They got three. They got Burrow. They got Burrow, Higgins, and then they turn around and got Chase.
Yeah, and I'm saying with Burrow, they refused to trade it. That led them. And the only reason why they got Chase is because Burrow broke his leg in preseason. I think it was the first game of the season, and that's the only reason why they had that top pick. So that was just by chance. But I understand people's desire to get a top pick. I understand the desire and the thought process. You're going to get a top-rated player, and I've seen players get drafted that's been practiced.
I'm just saying to me, Pickle. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say, Pickle. If we could get what's the edge player from Tennessee?
Oh, he's good.
I'll be happy.
Pierce,
I'll be happy, but I'm not going to go out here and hope the Panthers.
Yeah,
lose
you don't want to
many.
tank for him. I got you. Yeah.
I can never get that mentality.
I got you. Hey, let me welcome somebody into the show. We got JD back on the free for all, holding it down in Hawaii. JD, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's good? What's good? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, man.
Yeah, man. I was just hopping on to try to add to what Pickle was saying with tanking for draft picks. I mean, if you just, for me, I look around the league as it is, and I see the Texans in what felt like one off season, right? They got the front office right. They got the head coach and everybody right there, and then it felt like in one off season they flipped the script. Like, yeah, they went from worse to one of the most exciting teams to see. You saw a team like the Lions got the front office right, got the head coach right. It took them 2-3 years, but you could see the potential in year one. So the whole my philosophy on it, my thought process on it is like I want the team to win. I don't care about a draft pick. I want the team to win because if we look at the Panthers right now and say at the end of the season we're 8-9 or 9-18, and we're going into the draft, and you say the young man out of Tennessee, like, hey, that's a guy. Like, if we go and get this guy, our window opens up right now. Hey, whatever we need to move it to go get him. Like, I know it don't always work that way, but even if you're not able to get a player like the edge from Tennessee, there's going to be someone there to help better the team. Like, if we're seeing an 8-9 or better season, that means that they got the draft right, they got the free agency, the coaching, the front office right, and you can trust the front office, you can trust the coaches to develop these guys, trust the front office to bring these guys in, and that 8-9 is not going to be we lucked into an 8-9. It's going to be a Canales prepared these guys to go out there and play. We're an 8-9 team, but there's 3, 4, 5 games that if they're a little bit more efficient, we're in the playoffs and we're heading in the right direction.
If I could just add on that, I think the biggest thing I would say would be, if you like a guy in the draft, if there's somebody that you like, having the number 1, 2, 3 pick, that you earn doesn't necessarily mean that's the only way to get that player. You can go out and trade your picks or trade this or move up. Like, if you're in love with a player and as a coaching staff and that you feel that this player is going to make your team better, you don't have to suck to get them. That's just my mentality.
100%.
You don't have to, but you can go out and trade them.
Okay, but they're like I hear everyone, and like I just got 2 quick points. One, there are just some players that like teams legitimately like plan the tank for. I'm trying to think who it was.
Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Andrew Luck. They legitimately like tank. The Panthers with Cam Newton, it was just like we didn't know how bad the team was gonna like. I think my whole point with like, no, it's not just like let's tank right from the start of the season. I want to win games. I'm just saying by like mid-season, you need to know kind of who you are as a team, what direction you're heading in. I remember Cody said after we lost to the Bengals in 2022, like, well, if you traded CMC, why didn't you just trade Burns and DJ and get all this draft capital now, knowing which direction the season's going in? So it's just like that's kind of where the front office should know where you are. I don't think it's just like, no, let's not just tank because we're in a rebuilding situation. Let's go out there and win. Winning is more important than a draft pick. But if it comes to it, then there's still something good to look forward to because usually the top 5 to 7 players in the draft can be transcendent players for a young roster like us. That's all I was trying to say.
So I hear you. But to that, I would say getting your front office and your head coaches correct, that'll lead to that. Because if we start out and we ain't doing too well and they figure, hey, we can move off this guy, that guy, and be better prepared to draft those blue chip type players, having a front office that ain't afraid to pull the plug, like you can see that it's declining. Go ahead and end it when you can and get as much as you can from it all. Trade that guy away, you trade that guy away. Like I still, for me, it still kind of goes back to making sure the front office and making sure the front office guys and the coaches are on the same page. Like you have unity, you have direction, and then as corny as it might sound, that's also why I'm looking at this team right now and thinking that we very much could be competing for the division late in the season. I look at the first 10 opponents that we see, like everyone that we see before the bye. The Bengals are honestly the only team. I know that a lot of people are saying the Falcons are going to be good. The Falcons do have a lot of weapons, but they're also the Falcons. So, and I mean all the disrespect that came with that statement.
Yes, sir.
They're the Falcons. So, but yeah, the Bengals are the only opponent that I look at out of those 10 opponents and say that we know what that team is when they're at full health. Like the Saints don't scare me. The Chargers, they're going to new coach and quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, they said that the Chargers don't really have a good receiving league, so they
don't have no weapons. Yeah, they don't have nobody.
It's going to take
I haven't really been
Harbaugh a year.
I haven't really been keeping up with the Raiders, but you go through that entire first 10 slate of games. The Bengals are the one team and the last time we saw the Bengals, they whooped their ass. So it's like, why shouldn't we or why couldn't we be competing? I'm not saying that we could overlook any of the teams we're playing, but the direction that I look at preseason week 1, preseason game week 2, week 3, and I see that Plummer looked like a guy who should have hung up his cleats and opened up a law firm somewhere. And he went from that week 1 to looking like, hey, he's a backup quarterback, and he's going up against backup players, and he looks like an NFL player. Like, I saw development. So why in the hell wouldn't I believe that Bryce can have that same level of development as the season goes on? You get that from your coach to your quarterback, and why should the team goes as the quarterback goes? So if Bryce is playing well, we're in games. Like if Bryce is that guy, we're going to be in every game. In those first 10 slates, like, who do you fear? Now after the bye, that's a whole nother ball game, and that's why, if Canales is him, if Bryce is him, we're going to be competitive throughout the entire season. Get to that bye, and that's when the gloves come on. That's when the fight really takes off, because you got to see the Chiefs. Right? Say what you will about the Bucks, but you got to see them. You got to see the Eagles. You got to see the Cowboys. And these are all teams that have recently been in the playoffs. Who the fuck has been in the playoffs recently in the first 10 games?
No one. I mean,
You make a good point. You make a really good point.
Our first 4 games they're winnable games. Like Cincinnati is like really it. But their first 4 weeks, they're all winnable games, man.
I'm gonna
Because
say
Cincinnati
this.
don't have.
Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say Cincinnati don't have that running back no more either. That got like 4 touchdowns on us.
And to add on to Jake, Cincinnati, they're notorious slow starters. So like they at the start of the season, they're not a team that comes out guns blazing. Yeah. Yeah, but go ahead. Trey.
I was just gonna say, like, it's matchups within the matchups. All those first 5 games gonna tell us a lot. Not really the Saints. You could throw the Saints out. But when we play the Raiders and they got Max Crosby and they added Christian Wilkins, one of the best edges, one of the best D tackles.
Yeah.
That last year, a game like that is an automatic loss because we just couldn't hold up front. So with all the money we spent, that's gonna be a good test.
Yeah.
Pass rushing issues, regardless of if the Chargers don't have any legit weapons. If we can't put pressure on Justin Herbert, that could turn into a long game. We already know what's up with Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a lot of tests. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like the matchup within the matchup. Like last year when we were playing the Colts, DeForest Buckner, I'm like, dang, he's gonna wreck the game immediately. But it was Kenny Robinson. So I mean, I just look at the matchups and I'm not saying like I don't want the Panthers to be good. The fan in me always wants us to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially after watching us go 15-1 when nobody thought we would. So that'll never change. You know what I'm saying? I can never watch these dudes and hope they don't win. I'm just saying, like, long term, if we not winning the division, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying these guys should go out there and tank and lose on purpose. I'm just saying if we're not gonna win the division, if we're not gonna be playoff contenders,
Yeah, you would rather get a good
I would
player.
rather get that pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like I'm of the mindset. I think that if the Panthers can be a decent team, then it doesn't. I'd rather have that because I think you should be able to find game changers at every level of the draft. You know, I know we would like to have the higher, flashier picks, but I mean, we were able to get Xavier Leggett at the last pick of the first round, and if he ends up being
is he a game changer though?
I know,
I
but
trust
that's what
Dan
I'm
Morgan.
saying. We need to.
I trust Dan Morgan.
Yeah, we need to see if Xavier Leggett is that. But I mean, you can find game changers all up and down the draft. It's just can you evaluate them enough to find them? Hey, Red
that's what I'm saying though. Like with this upcoming season, if we go like 10-7, you don't think that pretty much every rookie is gonna contribute to that? So like that would, for me, it'll build up trust in the front office, like their talent evaluation. If we go 10-7 or something wild, something 11-6, that means that Sanders went off. Sanders popped off. Brooks popped off. Like Leggett popped off. Like that means our offense is clicking. We were playing good defense. We were playing complementary football.
So, no, I got you. But like the opposite of it is like if you are 4 and something, then you're a team that's supposed to be picking in the top 5. Like you're supposed to need one of those transcendent players. I'm not saying we're gonna go 4-13. I'm just saying that's usually how it is.
Right. And if we go 4-13, let's draft the best available player. And listen, if we have to trade up 1 or 2 spots, that shouldn't cost 4 draft picks, 4 first-round draft picks, and your stud wide receiver and all that bullshit. That's just because you got a stupid son of a bitch in the front office.
Hey,
now,
so real quick,
okay.
Go ahead, Pickle.
The shout out to Red Swarm.
Yeah, I just didn't want to forget him. He said,
the Jim Jones.
Read it out.
Yeah, let me read. He said, "Stop drinking the Jim Jones Kool-Aid, y'all. Explain Jim Jones to these young fellas, Pickle."
Hey, ain't nobody scared of Falcons. I don't give a damn.
Listen. Y'all got to be careful. It's the job of a head coach and the GM to give out that Kool-Aid, that Panther Kool-Aid. That Panther Kool-Aid that tastes sweet. Everybody
Ain't
loves
strong,
it. We're
Pick.
going to the Super Bowl. We're going to win it
That
all
fruit
for 5
punch.
years in a
Coach,
row.
that fruit punch.
And then at the end of the season, you say, what the fuck? We won 30 fucking games, nigga. What the
Somebody
hell?
shitting the
You
Kool-Aid.
bastard. You liars. Well, wait a minute. We had a coach like that, didn't we? We had a GM like that, didn't he? This ain't the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. That was the Frank Wright Kool-Aid. That was
we got
Doc
brand new
Farrell
Kool-Aid.
We done been down that route. We ain't talk now. Most of us that are sitting here, we understand we're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody here has talked in a realistic setting us up going to the Super Bowl this year.
Except Kevin.
The playoffs.
Like I said, but there is an option of us going to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
That option is existent today. Now, if we want to revisit this week 10, we may say, yeah, that option ain't there. But right now it's there. But again, if you are already know that you're not going into the playoffs, you're at that time of the year, I would hope, and a lot of it has to do with your owner and the guys in the front office. If they sat down and explained to those what they're doing, I think it goes over better. But you're also hoping that they don't go blab their mouths to the NFL officials. Because if you sit down and tell Bryce, no offense, it's nothing against the way you're playing, but we're going to bench you to play Plummer because we need to see what he can do for the future. We need to see what. Now, Leggett, you're playing all right, but we're going to put you over here and play this Coker kid who's been waiting on the practice squad all week.
No one
because
does
we
that,
want to see what he can do
And,
so
like,
we can be ready for the future.
my thing
Now,
is-
but at the same time, you got to hope like hell that your owner don't throw his drink at somebody and fire everybody at the end of the year.
My thing is, man, the season hasn't even started yet. Why the hell are we talking about draft picks, man? Like, that's what made me make
It is
that tweet.
early.
Yeah, like
It is
that's
early.
that's what made me make that tweet last night, because I'm like, bro, like the season ain't even started.
But-
We're talking draft picks.
But
man.
Cody, you got to understand it too, though. My
And so,
bad.
well, hold
Nah, I
on.
was
Let me do two things real quick. I gotta put somebody in the show. I'm gonna put somebody in the background. I'm not kicking you out. I just need to make room because we only have 10 on here for the time being. So if I put you on the background, it's only temporary, and I'll put you right back in if you tell me you want back in the private chat. So pop in. I'm gonna put you right in the back. Michael Wydrick, what's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How you doing on this lovely Friday?
Oh, man.
Oh, doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, just listening and stuff like that.
Yes,
So
sir,
yeah,
man.
I gotta say a lot of things right now, because right now I'm starting to feel like this is gonna be such a shit show for me to say that we might not even get into the playoffs this year. But it's my opinion, because I don't know, like, it seems like all the guys that we've been getting through free agency, through the draft or whatever, seems to get hurt. And it doesn't make sense when, you know, it just pisses me off that you would think that we're going to go into the playoffs real easily. Like, I don't see that, because honestly, I feel like we're going to go back to the 2-15 season all over again, which is going to suck for me to say, because I don't see us winning like half of these games, which I want them to win these games. And honestly, my mind's just pacing back and forth saying, you know, we're going to win these games, or no, we're not going to win these games. Well, there's one particular game I'm going to have to start watching, because it's a family rivalry game that's on our schedule, which is the Raiders. Because me, my brother, Larry Scott Jr., and my dad, Larry Scott Sr., are hardcore football fans of our teams, respectively.
Yeah.
So if because I feel like that one's going to be a good game. Because, yeah, I remember back then when we used to face the Raiders. I think it was back when we had Cam, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
They put up.
That's back when they still play on a baseball field.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. When Cam Newton played Oakland or the Raiders, it was always when they played. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a pretty good game. I gotta give props to that because, like, Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr was a rookie, wasn't he? That year.
I don't remember.
We played him. No, we played him at rookie and afterwards. He was there. He was with the Raiders for a minute. He was with the Raiders for a while.
I understand that, but that first time that we faced him was, I think he was a rookie, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah,
either way,
somewhere around there.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, the Raiders to me look good, and I know you guys are gonna, talk shit on me and shit like that, but you know what? I don't care because the way I see it is Antonio Pierce is getting these fucking guys ready, and I'm not just misjudging what Dave Canales is doing, but I'm keeping my expectations very low for this team because, like, we don't know who's going to be ready week 1, and we don't know who's going to be injured when that time comes because, honestly, with all due respect, I respect the Raiders, I respect the Lions, because those two teams have something that we didn't have that, that brought them to life that we just couldn't just reach out and grab for it.
Well, and Michael, it shows what the coach does because the Raiders were not a good team until Antonio Pierce took back over and really started to make shit happen.
Yeah, they still don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got Gardner Minshew. If you ask Tony,
well, okay, like I said, they still
don't ask Tony. Nah, Tony
ask Tony. But
they have two below average quarterbacks.
That's let me I'm gonna pass the mic for two people that I haven't heard speak on. If we can go from worst to first.
Okay.
Diesel Skills, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Skills.
Yeah, Skills. Tell me, can you see this Panthers team going from worst to first?
I mean, it's possible. It certainly is a possibility. And like Michael just said, most fans aren't expecting it. Most fans had this team somewhere between 4 and 7. To be honest, 4 and 7 wins is what I'm trying to say. And it's not, most fans have a very realistic expectation. What me and Anthony didn't like, though, in that presser that you guys mentioned earlier with Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis is Dan Morgan didn't want to say the word rebuild. He didn't want to admit it. And I don't know if that's something coming from up above him or if that's something coming from Dave, because, Dave's really positive all the time, and Dave doesn't want to give off any kind of, like, bad vibes. And maybe that's something that Dave Canales didn't want Dan to say. But he wouldn't admit the fact that the Panthers are in a rebuild. But that's exactly what we're doing. He called it a retool. And they did the same thing with Scott Fitterer last year or the year before. He said retool. So I think that's why me and Anthony wanted to literally vomit when he said that. But it's not that bad of a thing for them to believe in their core roster. And that's what he said after that. He said, we have a good core here, and I believe it. And I think it's okay for Panthers fans to believe in the roster. And if you want to believe that the Panthers make the playoffs this year, well, then by God, I love it. Let's watch every game together and let's talk about it. Because that's what we're here to do, is talk Panthers football. So there's nothing wrong with being super excited about this season. We're 9 days out. We haven't lost a damn game yet. If you believe in Derek Carr, more power to you. I don't. If you believe in Baker Mayfield without Dave Canales, more power to you. I don't. And if you believe in a 36-year-old quarterback down in Atlanta with a franchise that's great at choking, then more power to you off an ACL injury, but I don't either. and the Carolina Panthers may well be in position to fight at the end of this season. I don't think that it looks good to start the year. I think we need a little time. We got all new everything. New GM, new head coach, new position coaches, new offense, new players, new everything. What was it? 33 were cut off this team from the 53-man last year. So that core roster that Dan Morgan's talking about is like 22 players. Well, guess how many players it takes to play a damn football game? And if we stay healthy, who knows what we can do? It's possible, Coach. We might be.
Amen.
There, but most fans say between 4 and 7.
Brother, man, anytime I listen to D's give a speech, bro, I feel like I can do it back, bro. I feel like I can do it back.
Me too.
D's will get you going, man. And D's, I did want to comment on something that you said that in Dan Morgan Dan Morgan's press conference, he sort of danced around the word rebuild. If you notice, he also said he didn't like the word expectations. And because he didn't want to put expectations on this team. And to me, I kind of feel like those two things go hand in hand. Like, it's almost like common knowledge. If you say that we're a rebuilding football team, then that's tantamount to saying this is not a team that's ready to contend right now. And I feel like, even though that's just a platitude, he didn't want to put that out there that, hey, this is just a rebuilding Panthers team. And I sort of feel like that's why he chose the words that he did. I could be wrong though.
Hey yo,
Marty Herney once called when we drafted Cam Newton. He adamantly refused to call it a rebuild. He called it a retool. It was explained later on that year that the reason why is because when you use the word rebuild in a free agency, free agents turn the switch. They're done.
That's
they don't talk about it's agents are told if this team is in a rebuild, don't even answer the phone.
Yeah,
whatever the deal is no.
And so one more, and then I'm going to introduce somebody into the show to make it fun. But let me first go to Kyle. Kyle, do you see a team that can go from worst to first?
I mean, there's not that many teams in the NFL that could potentially go from worst to first, so our ranking on that list is deserved. I mean, and definitely possible. I don't see it's outside of the realm of possibility. And, let me reiterate that you don't have to have a 10, 11, 12 win season to go from worst to first on that list. So,
yeah.
I think it's a bigger possibility than we assume.
And it is a big possibility, and partly because this division has been weak sauce. And you know what? Deez just said that one of our division rivals has a 36-year-old quarterback. And wouldn't you know, we are lucky enough to be joined by a fan of that team and their 36-year-old quarterback. We got Red Swarm in the free-for-all. What up, Swarm?
What up, Cody? What's up, fellas?
How we doing, Swarm?
I'm good,
What's
man. I decided to tune in for the sequel. Die Hard 2. It's fun watching y'all, man. Y'all, I see this. I saw the same thing last year. All this excitement. We got King Bryce, the #1 draft pick. He's gonna lead us to a division title. It looks like a sequel. I'm back for part 2. Hey, but I do have a serious question.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
What's y'all's plan for success? Is it X's and O's or is it Jimmy's and Joe's?
Both.
I mean, bro, we got
More
some
so
of the
the first
X's
one.
and O's.
I was about to say.
And we got
Yeah.
some Jimmys and Joes. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
I think when I listen to most Carolina Panthers podcasts, I come away with the impression that y'all are putting a lot of weight on scheme, play call, X's and O's, more
coaching.
Yeah,
because it's been that bad.
Same thing.
This
More
is
so
true.
than I hear other teams and analysts, NFL analysts, evaluate teams on their personnel, on their players?
Well, partly partly that is attributed to Bryce and him not having a good season last year. So they're going to talk more about how you have a coach that's working with quarterbacks and makes them better, that has a track record of doing that. So I mean, that's why you would hear that from our camp.
But I have to listen to you guys talk about my 36-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles, who was actually, at the time that he got injured last year, probably, and I'm not going to say he was the leader in the NFL MVP race, but he was in there. So, but I'm sorry, Cody, I didn't mean to cut you off. He was.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Jay. Ask my question.
Has Kirk Cousins has he ever been on a better team than the Falcons right now? Let me ask you that question. Has he been on a better team roster wise compared to the Falcons right now?
I think so.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to argue when we know that Justin Jefferson is the premier wide receiver in the NFL, but that's one player at one position. So I would say that given the addition of Matt Judon and Justin Simmons, I would say that if you give the nod to last year's Vikings, it's not a huge gap. So he may have been, but he's never played in a division as weak as the NFC South. I'll stand on that.
He played in the NFC East when it was weak.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, my thing is this, man. Like, I just don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of your offensive pieces are still kind of unproven, Swarm. Like, y'all have that one good year from Kyle Pitts. Okay, Bijan is an incredible talent, but the dude is young, right? Last year was his rookie year. I mean, Drake London, I think, is probably the most dependable offensive piece that y'all have. I mean, like, to me, there's just a lot of unknowns in this division. And yeah, you're right. There is a lot of excitement behind what the coaches are going to do. Canales was able to turn around Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson, and we're betting that he's going to be able to do that for Bryce. On the flip side of that, our defensive coordinator, Ejiro Rivero, I mean, he really hasn't had a ton of talent to work with his 2 years here in Carolina either. For what he has been able to do here, there hasn't been a ton of talent, and he's still been able to produce a defense that, and people dispute this, but was statistically a top 5 defense. So, yeah, I really think that we've upgraded the offense, and I think this division is kind of up for grabs, man. To me, I don't look at one of these teams right now and say, oh, they're the clear better team. I mean, I know everybody feels like it's y'all, but I'm not going to give that to y'all, man. You can call me a hater.
I don't expect you to, because we're division foes. But what I would like to do, if y'all got time, because I know you got to get your other guest on. Y'all got to go through your Panther kumbaya. Get y'all.
Nah, you're good.
Ready.
He said kumbaya, bro. I'm done.
Get yourself ready for the season. But let's do this. Let's do this. I was going somewhere when I said X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you that there's a lot of excitement around Canales. Facts are facts. He has worked with some quarterbacks during a period where they revitalized their quarterback careers. I ain't taking that from him. I'll give him that. So I can understand the connection to what is going to happen with Bryce being guided by a Dave Canales. So, what I'm saying, I don't even really want to talk about the X's and the O's that Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris and those coaches bring over from the Rams, who they were there on the Super Bowl winning team. And you can give all the credit to Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, who people dogged him when he was at Detroit, even though all he did was throw for high yardage very akin to what Kirk Cousins did. But I really wanted to talk about the Jimmies and Joes, Cody, if you don't mind doing that. So you talk about, Kyle Pitts, what he was, what he hasn't been since Matt Ryan was there. Talk about Drake London, shows potential, flash here and there, but he really hasn't been in that top 10 receiver in the NFL. Talk about Bijan. I would talk about Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder, who can't make an NFL squad. So let's talk about personnel groupings, if you don't mind, and we can keep it specifically to the NFC South. We don't have to, because that's the division we're in. It's time to put the pads on, crack helmets, sweat blood and tears. The guys are fixing to play. No more preseason games. These games count. So the 53s are set. Let's talk about personnel groupings, if y'all don't mind.
Let's do it. Which ones you want to talk about?
Let's do it.
Where you want to start?
Let me say real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Evero, I believe Evero doesn't want top level pass rushers. I believe Evero's mindset is give me some solid run stoppers, and I will figure out where to get the pass rush from. Because he did it in Denver. He did it a little bit last year. And that's the only 2 years he was ever defensive coordinator. That's just what I think that's what his notion is. He doesn't see the value in a top level edge rusher. Now, maybe that's because he's never had one. And yeah, I mean this including last year. Evero has never had a top level edge rusher ever. But anyway, but if you're heading where I think you're heading, Red, you're going to be right. I can't compare, other than a few selected positions, our roster comparable to the Falcons or maybe even the other teams, because we have a lot of potential, but not a lot of proof on most positions on our roster.
So what grouping would you like to start with, Swan?
So we could go ranking for the division 1 through 4 with each, or we can do it like this. We can just say who has the best. I'm willing to concede that Tampa Bay has the best wide receiver room in our division.
Sure.
If y'all will give me if y'all will give me the rest of the offense, we can move right to defense.
Okay, so that means we're giving you O-line, saying that y'all got the best O-line, which probably...
No, I disagree.
I think our running backs as a group is better.
I think
as a group.
Since it's 9 of y'all and 1 of me, can we have a unambiguous tiebreaker?
I would go. If we're talking about what are we talking about right now? The offensive line or the
who the best offensive line in the NFC South?
I think it's Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I do too. They got Tristan Wirfs, man.
There's not a single offensive lineman better than Tristan Wirfs in the NFC South.
Okay, so I agree with that. I agree with that. You take that one player, and by default, you say 1 out of a set of 5.
That's not what I'm saying.
They have the best offensive line.
I'm expressing that that's the best offensive player in the offensive lineman in the NFC South. I didn't say that was the reason that they're the number 1. I'm saying that that's a contributing factor. They have a great offensive grouping there. There might be some weak spots, but overall, I don't think there's an argument here.
CK, I will give you that Tristan Wirfs is probably one of the top 3 tackles in the NFL. No doubt about it. He is absolutely far and away the premier tackle in the NFC South.
He's probably number 2.
Close. He could be. Well, I say 3 easily. But,
he behind Trent Williams.
Williams hasn't really fallen off to me. Trent Williams hasn't really fallen off to me. I'm sorry. So, but
Trent Williams is a beast.
Yeah, but with all that said, what I'm saying is this. I know that, and CK, I appreciate that. And I won't really argue with you that I'm not even arguing with you about the merits of Tristan Wirfs, but I'm talking about the group. So I know that we don't like to do this unless it supports our specific positions. But I don't want to just say PFF, but many rankings and sites that do these rankings have my team with at least the top 5 in the NFL, my O-line. So I can't accept that Tampa Bay's O-line is a better O-line as a group than mine.
What makes them better, in your opinion, when you look at your offensive line, what has put them at that top 5? Is it a new addition or is it what you have currently?
Well, number one currently is the best guard in the NFL, Chris Lindstrom. But guard play is totally different than tackle play.
Sure.
I'll give you that. But Jake Matthews is a consistent enough top-ranking guard that I think as a number 2, if you say my best player is Tristan Wirfs, who is your number 2 and where does he rank on Tampa? If I say my best O-lineman is probably the 1 or 2 best right guards in the NFL, who is your number 2 lineman? I would give you Jake Matthews. And then I would tell you that many people consider my center to be a top 10 center in the NFL.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'll say it to you like this, Swarm. I have no problem giving y'all that one because I think on paper, like I agree with
best team in the division on paper.
I think
They also got Derek Brown's bitch over there, if you want to be honest.
I mean, look, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with Tristan Wirfs is the best O lineman in the NFC South, but I think on paper the Falcons do have a pretty good lineup, and I think that's why Falcons fans are excited because they're just going to run the ball behind that line with Bijan, and you're really not going to have to ask.
But here's my argument. Here's my argument. Number one, I think Tyler Algier has proven that he's the number 1 back there every year in, year out, personally. And I just don't think that he's had enough of a falling off to make Bijan Robinson the only reason Bijan is going to be considered like a high pick, in my opinion. And Red, you might be able to confirm me or disagree with me here, is just because he was a top draft pick. Even when he came in his first year, it was Algier. Algier was still taking the heavy load. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this.
And I didn't agree with the pick, CK.
Yeah, I think it was it seems like he's an electrifying player if they can get the right things going. But anyway, so my point being is many people have Damian or Robert Hunt as a top 10 guard in the league, number 10 on most. Then they have Damian Lewis as a better guard than Jake Matthews or Jake, whatever his name is. I forgot what you said. And then on top of that, we have one of the best right tackles in the entire NFL. So I could almost argue that our offensive line is potentially better than what Atlanta has out there.
So if I was going top to bottom, you might be surprised. I have us 1, your O-line 2, Tampa's 3, and of course New Orleans is the worst O-line in the entire NFL.
And that would be my argument. Yeah. What you just said, that would be my argument to say that the Panthers, Tampa Bay, and the Falcons have a similar offensive line altogether, and Saints would be worse. That would be my argument. It's very close, really.
Yeah, we agree wholeheartedly. So we want to do a quarterback room. As much as y'all shit on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no, I want everybody in here. I want everybody in here to tell me who has the best quarterback in the NFC South.
Room.
I want to hear it. Come on, y'all. Don't get
Carolina Panthers.
There we go. Jim Jones got some purple juice for you, baby.
Baker Mayfield as it stands right now.
Jim Jones got some purple juice for you too, brother.
I think
Anthony, I agree with you, brother. I think it's Baker Mayfield.
You know, it's funny. Mm-hmm. It's funny to me in this argument, and you could be sincere in the point that you're making, but all I heard was how shitty Tampa Bay was going to be because y'all had the experience and knowledge about how crappy Baker Mayfield was.
Yeah.
And he turned out to be better.
No, I never said that. I people can vouch for me. Me and JJ last year said that
Baker Bottoms.
To win the division.
Baker Bottoms. If I was with that, hey, Cody, Baker Bottoms.
Them Baker Bottoms.
If I may chime in, I don't see. Here's my point. If the quarterback room and the Falcons were so damn good, they wouldn't have to rely on running the football to win. Same with Carolina.
Last year,
If we had so much faith,
last year,
if
Pickle.
we had so much faith in Bryce Young, why the hell do we have to run to win? Because we don't.
Here's
Totally
the,
different
Now,
quarterback
if
room,
the
Pickle.
Falcons-
Totally different quarterback room. Totally.
The other
Arthur
ones are
Smith
the
is
same way.
gone. Arthur Smith is
the other
gone.
ones are the same way, but
I'm
not. If it was all up to me, I'm not happy with any of the rooms. But as a fan, you take what they give you. You know?
Bro, here's the thing. I don't know why people are having a hard time understanding this. Kirk Cousins has been one of the most consistent and one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the past
Regular
6
season.
to 7 years. You might want to add the regular season in there, sure. But the failures, even in the postseason, if you go back and look at them, 90% of the failures have been on the defense, not on the offense. So Kirk Cousins is not the reason that they have not been able to perform in the playoffs in the majority of his playoff appearances. Kirk Cousins, you cannot. He got a guaranteed contract when he went to the Vikings because he was considered a top sought after free agent when he went there. He was either between the Jets, and the Jets were offering him an arm and a leg to go there too. And then he's now a free agent, and the Falcons decide to offer him an arm and a leg to come there too. To pretend like he isn't considered a top 10 quarterback in this league, you're absolutely out of your mind. I don't like it. I don't like that he's a Falcon, but if you look at anything he's done over the past 10 years, you cannot give me anything that tells me anything other than him being a top 10 quarterback. And you can put stats on that. You can try to say that win-losses are the only thing. It's a team sport. But if you want to talk about players being players, then we can talk. Let's talk about what people would value Christian McCaffrey at. You want to talk about how many Super Bowls he's won? How many games did he win when he was a Carolina Panther, when he was considered one of the best players in the entire NFL?
Not a lot.
But that wasn't his fault, though, to be fair. Like,
it wasn't his fault, but I mean, it's
Exactly, but
reality,
that's my
though.
point
He didn't
with
win a lot of
Kirk.
games.
That's my point.
No,
with
I
Kirk
get
Cousins.
you. I understand. Like, it's the same thing as Aaron Rodgers, too. And, like, in all his playoff losses, his defense has averaged, like, 37 points given up. And, like, it's been terrible. So, like,
CK, I'm so glad you're here. Because I value, and I listen to you guys on Tuesdays nights, and I listen to the free for alls. Cody knows on Fridays, and I ain't trying to set you up for guys to hate you. Damn what they think about what Rhea Schwarm has to say. I value people who honestly assess and evaluate NFL talent. See, because when we talk about defense, what you're not going to hear me do. Just because they're not on my team, and it's okay to hate on Kirk Cousins. I know for a fact you would love him if he was your quarterback.
No,
but he's not. He's on the enemy's team.
Absolutely.
But what you won't hear me do, will not hear me do, is shit on Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, even with his injuries. He's a top 10 fucking cornerback in the NFL. It's a small sample size, but the sample size is A+. So you're not.
Y'all have one of the best corner. Hey, don't y'all have AJ Terrell, the corner?
Wait, hold on. So, Swam, you're going to tell me.
I'm about to say he's one of the best corners.
Hold on. Swam, you're going to tell me that I'm not giving an honest evaluation of Kirk Cousins when I tell you that man is a choke artist?
No.
Is that not?
He's had a lot of bad luck, though, Cody. He's had a lot of bad luck. A lot of bad luck.
From the bottom of my soul, that is honest. The
That
man
is-
is a
you might
choke
believe
artist.
But he ain't booty
So
cheeks.
is
He
the
ain't booty
Falcon.
cheeks, Cody.
That's why y'all are made for one another.
He's washed,
bro.
The
Cody,
choke artist
here's
quarterback.
Get him, CK.
with the choke artist football
Cody, that is the most surface level thought process on the planet.
No, it
You're just basically recycling the media headlines because the media sees his win-loss record in playoffs and prime time. The reality is, when you actually look at the stats and you watch those games, it is rarely Kirk Cousins that's the problem. It is usually a failure on the defense. And when I usually,
I agree with that.
90 to 95% of those games you want to refer to him being a choke artist on, it comes down to the defense not doing their job.
You're a quarterback. You're supposed
An elite
to
quarterback would
elevate,
bail that out.
and you're supposed to win primetime football games.
Sure.
I'm
But
sorry.
He's not Tom
That
Brady,
is
bro.
not-
He's not
that
Tom
is
Brady.
not what Kirk
ain't
Cousins
So
does.
Cody, let's do
Kirk
this.
Cousins is a fucking jag.
Let's do this.
Just like
So
NC State.
We're
He's
talking
very
about
smart.
position groupings, right? So you can say that Baker Mayfield is the number one quarterback in our division. Cody, who's number 2, 3, and 4?
What, quarterbacks in the division?
Yeah.
Don't you do it,
And
Cody.
then we can talk about
Cody, don't
backups.
Plead the fifth, Cody. Plead the fifth, Cody. Plead the fifth, Cody.
Do the right thing, Cody.
I might have to. Look.
Do the right fucking thing, Cody.
Bryce Young has
Talk to him, Anthony. Somebody. I'm not gonna listen to that bullshit.
Cody, your non-response is all I needed to hear, Cody.
Oh, that's messed up, Red Swarm. That's messed up, bro.
I hate this division with a passion.
I hear you loud and clear, man.
I blame Clemson.
With a passion.
Go ahead. If Bryce Young reaches his full potential, that I think he honestly will, he'll be the best quarterback in this division for the foreseeable future. He's got the most talent. I have no idea, but all I know is Kirk Cousins has 2 years left.
Within 3.
Baker Mayfield he's probably got this contract left, and I don't know what's going to happen. And then Garrett Carr's awful. He's just not good.
Jeez.
I mean,
In all due respect, I don't think Bryce Young will ever throw the football as beautifully as Michael Penix does.
Here we go.
Do you think, Bryce Swarm, can I ask you?
Don't worry, you're going to get a chance to see Penix throw the ball this year. Don't worry about it.
Do you think Bryce Young is going to throw a better ball than Brock Purdy?
You ain't doing him no favors.
Listen, so
no.
Let me chime in on this because Kyle Shanahan was my OC when we went to the Super Bowl. Let me tell you something, man. I don't know what that boy daddy had him doing when he was 8, 9, and 10 years old, but that motherfucker can draw up an offense, man. Let me tell you something. He can get everything out of every player. With that being said, I get sick of people hating on Brock Purdy, man. Because even if you put him in the right scheme and do all of that and put all of that around him, he still effing delivers. Give him some credit, man. And I ain't saying that Bryce won't someday get back to what sold him as the number 1 pick. And that was absolutely his play at Alabama. Listen, man, I know y'all were baffled last year. And I know y'all searched for all the reasons. The owner fired the people that he felt failed him and this and that. But listen, man, I was puzzled at why, not just that he had rookie struggles, but why did he look so different than he did at Alabama? Now, with that being said, you can't take away what his collegiate career was. And if he gets back to it, y'all are damn right. You got your quarterback for the future. But that's a big if. And y'all got the right head coach and OC who has a history of helping guys reach a level that they had never been to before.
And by the way, we cannot we can say what we hope his ranking is, but in the NFC South. But I think right now the problem is anything we say that is above 4, there is no evidence to support it. There's nothing that we can, we cannot point to any. It's the same thing with Bijan. If you want to say he's like a number 1 running back, you can't do that because there's no evidence that supports it. You really couldn't put anybody above Alvin Kamara in the NFC South with the running back because he has proven that he's able to do it.
Rashad White had the best year last year, CK. Overall, Rashad White. And they talk about how terrible Tampa's running game was, but individually as stats went, and when I turn on the tape and look at him, he got through holes that just really weren't there.
Well, the thing that I would argue is kind of the same thing that you run into with the Panthers is they didn't really run the ball a lot because they were not a good team last year. And so they were playing from behind in many of the games, meaning the Saints, right? So Alvin Kamara wasn't a focal point because he wasn't, let's be real about it. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a quarterback that's giving them a lot of confidence. You know what was different about Tampa, in my opinion, is when you have the fear of Mike Evans and that ability to throw the ball down the field, you're going to open up some things with that running back room. It's kind of, they say the opposite, right? They say the running game opens up the pass game, but I think the opposite's true in a lot of cases too. And I think Tampa, and Rashad White, if you look at the two, I don't think that you could logically make an argument that White is better than Kamara, even when you just look at the tape. But
I agree.
I think circumstances matter a lot. So, but my entire point with this is saying trying to argue that Bryce is anything other than number 4 is an effort in futility. It doesn't make sense. There's no logic in that, right? I think it's a pretty logical breakdown. We've had 1 good season, maybe 2 if you want to count the Browns from Baker Mayfield. And last year, that was, the first time we've seen him showing up in a big way even in those clutch moments, right? So I think it's not even a question to me. I think Kirk Cousins number 1. I think Baker Mayfield number 2. Derek Carr, as much as you guys hate on him, he has been a good quarterback in this league. He wouldn't have gotten the contract with the Saints if he wasn't. So he's number 3. And Bryce Young, until he proves otherwise, has to be number 4. I believe his talent and his abilities are going to show that he is going to be considered at least number 2 on that list by the end of the year. But as of now, it's just not. We can't argue that.
I agree. I agree too.
CK, guess what? I heard somebody on the Saints podcast say this earlier in the week. And think about this, y'all. This is crazy as hell. And just use your NFL history minds to see if you can come up with one. But if Dennis Allen loses his job this year, largely in part due to the play of Derek Carr, or just if Derek Carr is benched and Dennis Allen is fired, he'll be the first NFL head coach to lose 2 head coaching positions behind the same quarterback.
Yeah, because he lost it with the Raiders,
wild?
right? Yep.
Yeah. Is that wild or what, man?
That is a wild statistic.
Oh, that's crazy.
To think about.
Who can? I don't think there's anybody right now on this panel that's ever said that Dennis Allen's ever been a good head coach. He has not been.
Hey, listen, as somebody who has family with Saints fans in it, nobody likes Dennis Allen. Not even Saints.
Yeah, they ready to get rid of him, Cody. They ready to get rid of him.
Well, they really want his ass all the way gone.
Well,
but hey, so Swarm, since you say I can't be honest in my evaluation
now,
of
Cody,
players,
I didn't really say that.
Wait, let me give you an honest to God opinion. What scares me more is if Kirk Cousins gets hurt.
I hear what you're saying. I know why you're saying that.
And you, bro.
I agree, Cody. I agree.
That's what, because let me tell y'all what. Do y'all know how bad we would feel as a fan base if the Falcons? I don't even want to finish the sentence, bro.
Yeah, get that jersey out, Cody. I know you still got it.
Nah, shut your ass up, Jake. I'll throw your ass up this bitch so goddamn fast. But look, and listen, another thing too, if Derek Carr is bad or gets hurt, all those Saints fans are waiting to see Spencer.
Oh, they already calling for him.
Yeah,
they already calling for him.
I will always defend Rattler. If you go back and look at his college tape, a lot of those throws to Leggett down the field, they're off target because he doesn't have time in the pocket. If the Saints offensive line, if Carr goes down and Rattler goes out there and the line gives him time, there's one thing you can say about Rattler. He is a gunslinger. If you give him the opportunity to push the ball, he's going to push it, and he's accurate. He's a lot more accurate than what it looks. If they give him time in the pocket, I don't want to see Rattler in the Saints. Like I'd rather go get.
Man, if y'all don't, I'm a Clemson fan, so I ain't worried about Rattler. He had one fluke game.
Clemson doo-doo. Clemson hot dog water.
Already, Cody, you know what it is.
Yeah,
you worried about Rattler?
No, I'm not too worried about Rattler. Bro. I mean, I think, he's got a good arm. The reason why I'm not scared of him, bro, I think that's the offensive line.
He's dookie. Their offensive line is
man.
I have seen.
To clarify, I'm saying giving their offensive passing game becomes more lethal if Rattler is back there as opposed to Carr being back there. I don't fear the Saints at all, regardless of who they have a quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I
think
that's
the Saints. Oh, go ahead, finish your.
I got y'all beating them week 1. I put that in the chat, and I've been saying it. So like I say, I just trying to handicap the games week by week, and I don't drink, I don't live in the ether, but I'm telling you, I got y'all beating them. And y'all could go down there and do it. And I think, I'm going to be honest with you.
I appreciate the love, Red Swarm.
Well, I wish that y'all wouldn't. Because y'all are going to be fucking insufferable to deal with. Because listen, everybody else in the Tampa and my team, we don't play a divisional opponent. Y'all do. If y'all beat them, Y'all are ahead in the division week 2, going into week 2.
Yeah, for a few weeks, right?
I
Yeah.
see y'all's asses if y'all are at the top of the division.
Hey, we gonna be toxic as hell. Hey, Coach Taylor, we gonna be toxic as hell.
We're number one. We're number
I just
one
think
out here, y'all.
I just think the Saints offense is going to.
I did want to say also, hey, the Swarm. Hey, hey, you're the type of fan I can respect, bro, because you'll walk into a Lions den and talk your shit, so I can respect. Like, I'm gonna feel how I feel towards the Falcons regardless, but I can respect the hell out of you, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I spend a lot of time over here because I'm gonna tell you something, man. I definitely travel to NFC South. Now I don't visit sites as often in other divisions. Weird thing, I do find a lot of NFC West podcasts. So I look at those, and there's a lot of Chargers podcasts out there too. So I visit those sometimes, and also the Broncos. But listen, man, I've already been called all kind of shit by other Falcons podcasts that I go on because they hear me on some of the Panthers podcasts. But y'all have the top line podcasters that are out there.
We have passionate fans, man. We have passionate ass fans.
Not just that, Jake. Not just that, but y'all have knowledgeable fans too. Y'all got Kool-Aid drinkers, but hell, all of us do. But for the most part, y'all have very knowledgeable football fans, man. And and that's why I spend a lot of time over here, because I like to talk real damn football, man.
That's what's up. Hey, that's what this podcast is for, baby. It's a free for all. And hey, I love the dialogue, man. Like, this is a better show when we're able to have some opposing opinions on here, because we're all Panther fans. But hey, you see just between all of us how varying the opinions are on Bryce Young. There are people in here that have no problem telling you Bryce is the number one quarterback in this division in 2024. And I love that. But I'm also like what CK said earlier.
On the young man.
I'm just not gonna give that to him yet. Like,
well,
I
you
gotta
shouldn't.
see that. Yeah, I gotta see
there's
that.
no reason to.
Hey,
but
y'all, I don't know how many of y'all have fur babies, but I'm babysitting my granddaughter's dog this weekend, and this mofo is scratching at the door and barking at me. I don't know if y'all heard him in the background. But if he pees in my wife's house, I'm gonna catch hell. So I gotta jump off and take this joker outside.
Hey, Red Swarm. Hey, we appreciate your opinion, brother. We appreciate
it. Boys, man. Love y'all boys, man.
Brent, if you have something of hers, like a coat or something, lay it on the floor. Just lay it on the floor and let him lay on it. That gives him the scent of her, and it calms him down. It'll calm him down.
Pickle,
I've been through that, my friend. I've been through that. A lot of us just stressed out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. All right. Thank you, man. Thank you,
Yeah,
Pickle.
man.
All right. I'll talk to y'all boys,
Yeah,
man.
hey, if you want to jump in later, feel free, man. We'll go to about 10.
Appreciate it, Cody.
All right, so we'll have a good one, bro.
Cody.
But let me like, Anthony's been trying
Go
to
ahead, Anthony.
I was just gonna say, like, when he was still on, I think the Saints' offensive line is gonna be like what ours was last year. Just can't run, run block, just can't do anything. Like and like they're trying to play their rookie at tackle, and like I always thought that Fuanga guy was a guard. It's kind of one of those situations with Ike Ekwonu, in my opinion. But that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not a big believer in this Saints O-line. I've seen their tackles look terrible. My brother was even telling me the guy they drafted at left tackle, I forget his name.
He's a bum.
Penning, and we all said, I think we were on the draft. I think we all knew he was going to be bad. Like during that, I remember watching that draft with y'all or something, but we all knew he was bad. But yeah, man, you can't put Bryce Young at number one, but I think it's only been 1 year, and I think like he can still live up to what he was drafted to be. Like, and a lot of people, the questions about him, were from a lot of analysts and stuff were, well, is he going to be able to hold up in games? He already proved he can play a full season in the NFL. Now it's really just like get him in the game with a coach that believes in him and work on the stuff that he's actually good at, right? Like I wanted to get this point off when Swarm was in here. You know, I know a lot of people don't believe in him up to this point, but you know, if you weren't a Panthers fan last year, you weren't really getting all the intel of the whole story, like those athletic articles that were coming out, and how, you know, Cody was talking about, like, you know, maybe Frank Reich didn't want Bryce Young, and that's why he didn't implement RPO. So like, I just think, like, I just want to see what he does this year in a situation where you can do the kind of stuff that he's good at. And if he's not good, like, yeah, I'll definitely eat the crow for it, and we'll figure out what to do from there. But I don't want to draft another quarterback. I really don't.
I agree, Anthony. And I got a question for the whole panel right now. And unless Bryce Young has a worse rookie year going into his second year, I don't think we draft another quarterback. I don't think we pay a veteran quarterback either. Unless Bryce Young plays worse than his rookie year, I think we stick with him at least going to year 3. That's just my opinion.
I said the same thing.
You
give up everything that we gave up for him. When you give up everything, you get a little bit longer. Like, I never saw it as a make or break year for Bryce.
I don't know. I'm still torn on that, man. To me, it depends on who's available.
That's the thing. Is
and it depends on where we're picking. You know, like, and it depends on how good or bad Bryce is.
That's the other part.
Yeah, if it looks like last year, bro, you can't tell me that Bryce is safe. Like,
no, he's not. That's my question. Unless he plays worse than his, I don't think it will be either. Unless he plays worse than his rookie year, I don't think they draft a quarterback, bro. I really don't.
I'll tell you what I said on Sheena's show the other day. To draft a quarterback would be a dumb decision.
Right.
There are too many problems on this team that you have going forward, and to draft a quarterback would put you right back in the situation you were in with Bryce.
We're just rinsing and repeating.
And like, that's what I said. Like, let me add on here real quick, Pickle. That's what I said. Like, that's why that conversation we were having earlier about, like, well, if we do get a top draft, like, that's why some fans are like already scouting out these players like Travis Hunter. Because if that is the case, like, I would much rather add to like, if Bryce has a season where it's like 20 touchdowns, 9 picks, like he had a good season, but not like a great season, and fans may still question him, then it's like, I'd still rather add to the roster and build this up and give him more support, or you know, do something to that aspect, then draft a quarterback and put him in a situation where, yeah, maybe you draft a quarterback that fans like more in the pre-draft process, like he's got more arm talent and this and that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be able to overcome the bad situation again, like Pickle was just saying.
It's better in the long run, Anthony. It's better in the long run for sure. In the long run, it's definitely better to do it that way.
It just depends, man. Like, I mean, none of you are wrong. There's too many variables right now for me to say one way or the other.
Wrong.
I mean, I'll say this though, like, if Bryce can come out here and look good and look better than he did last year, and if we have an offense that's built for him like we want it to be, then yeah, I am not looking to draft a quarterback in 2025. How about that? I do not want to be. If we need to be, then that's different. But I'm hoping that this year we can see a legit, like, I want him to start looking like Brock Purdy. To me, that has always been. And
better.
If you've been listening to this pod forever, then you know that I've said that's my favorite comp for Bryce. And that is not an insult. People think that is an insult because he was the last pick in the draft. And no, it's not. Their skill set is just similar. Where they were drafted, be damned.
That's fair. I just don't know that. I don't think we have the weapons and the personnel.
Nowhere near.
Yeah, like
we don't.
Like, and like, that's why, like, I hate the Tua combo, because, like,
but do we have to have the same kind of weapons in order for Bryce?
We don't.
In order for Bryce to look like Brock Purdy?
We don't.
But no, I'm saying, like, he can look better than. Like, this is why I don't like the Tua comparison either, because, like, Tua offers you nothing outside the pocket. He doesn't offer you anything when the play breaks down. Like, the one thing I like about Bryce Young is when the play breaks down, he's trying to extend the play. We saw that in his good moments last year, and even his bad moments. So I just think like it's too early on to pinpoint a comp. Like, yeah, maybe.
Oh, it's definitely too early.
Maybe he's a better Brock Purdy. Maybe he's a better Brock Purdy. Yeah, maybe he like a better Brock Purdy. Sure, that's a great comp, but I don't know. I just don't.
So
like
Anthony,
comparing.
if Brock and Tua are not the comps you would make for him, then who would you compare him to, if anyone?
I don't know yet.
Drew
I haven't
Brees.
seen it. I haven't seen him in a sustainable offense where, again, all the factors like you got a coach that actually believes in him. You got a solid offensive line. Like those are the things. Like those are the things I don't know yet. I don't know. I mean, maybe like I see some people online talking about maybe like a smaller Russell Wilson, and I think like that's
not
be
bad.
possible. Like,
yeah, it's not
I
bad.
just think, yeah, I'll give you this though. I don't mind the Brock Purdy compare. Like, I don't like personally. I'm not the biggest Brock fan, but he is good at extending the play. I really don't like the Tua thing at all. I just think I think Tua's in a system where you snap the ball and there's already dudes streaking over the middle wide open. It's like he's not battle tested at all, in my opinion. Like for example,
I think Bryce Young is more accurate than both of those quarterbacks.
If you put Tua in our offense last year, Tua would have been killed by week 4. He would have been he would have had a concussion or something because he couldn't scramble. And like Bryce got sacked 62 times last year. He probably avoided like 20 sacks as well. So I don't know. I just don't think the comparison is like that. I think we can make a comparison for him this year, like how he does this year. That's my opinion.
I always figured like when you took a rookie QB, if you take a rookie QB and you put him in a system that works, the most that you should expect out of that quarterback is that he looks like a game manager. Like that goes for any team, any quarterback, from the very worst to the very best. Like if you were taking that player as a rookie, you would want to put him in a system that allows you to get a proper evaluation of him. So rookie season, he plays at a game manager level and he flashes what he can become. Bryce didn't get that because the system he was in, the team, the players that surrounding him, the scheme didn't fit. It didn't work for anybody. So, like for me going into the season, at worst, I want to see him be a league average QB. Like be able to get the guys lined up in the right set, right person, like get the ball to whoever's open, distribute it. If he builds a rapport with Deontay and it's 9 to 5 type connection all season long, cool. In terms of player comp, I going throughout the season is going to be I think Anthony just said, you'll be able to get a feel for what type of QB or what quarterback you can properly compare him to going through this season. My personal belief is that Bryce's play level, when he becomes the type of quarterback he can become, when he gets there, his play will always be a league average, do the right thing, take care of the ball type quarterback. I believe his superpower, so to speak, is going to be being clutch. The accuracy on the mid to short range passes, being able to deliver those balls when they need to happen. That's just what I'm guessing that anyway.
Yeah, great points. I mean, Bryce to me is an anomaly. I don't know what we have in him. I don't, and that's why I'm wanting this year to tell me. Because even if we don't get, I feel like call me unfair if you would like to.
We will get an answer.
Even if Bryce doesn't like I feel like I'll know this year if he's our future or not.
We will know because Dave Canales,
Dave,
this is the other thing too. For all the people already out on Bryce Young, like Bryce Young has more talent than Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield, right? So we're gonna get an answer this year as to if he is the guy. That's my opinion. So like I do kind of agree it is kind of a make or break year for him. Like if he plays bad, then you got a lot of decisions to make. But then if he plays good, then hey, we got our franchise dude, man. Like last year, I know people said there was nothing on film that he did. Like he was bad. He was bad, but they were like you could see flashes in every game. They were just so far. Like they were so small in increments. Like they only came so often, and I think that's just a sign of like. Kind of like Trevor Lawrence's, not comparing the builds or anything, but it was kind of like Trevor Lawrence's rookie season. You saw some great throws here and there, but then you saw bad interceptions and just things like that.
Yeah, I there are a lot of similarities between bad coaches. I mean, hey, man, it's a make or break. Even if Bryce is going to be the quarterback next year, I feel like I'll know if he's the future or not this year. Just watching what he can do.
That's the part of it. Like we want to see improvement, but the reality is, if it's not massive, I know it's not a fair thing to put on him right now. If it's not a massive improvement, it's going to feel as though he isn't the answer. He's going to get another shot in year 3 if he improves. But it's like you said, it is going to be pretty evident if he's got the it factor that you're looking for in a quarterback like that. I agree. I think that I talked about it on the show one day. I think if this is a massive, just like he doesn't do well, he does as bad as he did last year with all of these extra pieces that have been added. If that is in fact what happens, I think that you are looking at a situation where we go after a free agent next year. Or maybe, I don't think we're going to reach in the draft. Like somebody said, we just got too many holes.
We don't have money for a free agent though. That's what many
not yet.
Understand. Yeah, maybe not yet. But if JC Horn, like I'm all for getting. If you want to draft another quarterback, fine. Or you want to get another quarterback, fine. But I'd rather draft one that's cheap and then be able to go sign like a big name free agent wide receiver or like a big name, I don't know, edge rusher or something to that matter. But then again, listen, the best out. I was talking to Greg about this. The best outcome is Bryce is good, and we don't have to worry about any of this.
Right.
That's the best outcome to the whole situation.
Anthony. I don't think JC Horn's gonna cost a lot of money though, bro. I really don't. I really don't think he's gonna get top 5. Only think he's gonna get top 10 cornerback pay. I really don't. Even if he's healthy the whole year, I don't think he's gonna get that pay, bro. I really don't.
He is.
I disagree.
He might ask that, but how many years has he been totally healthy? All 17 games. 17 games. How long has he been healthy?
Reports already came out that we're preparing to pay him top dollar.
And that's my question, Tree. Where is this coming from that we're already looking to pay him? And why are we saying that right now? This just riddles of, we've had so many top players leave the team in recent years. We're just not going to let it happen to another one. But now we're in that other position where JC Horn has not yet earned that contract. I'm sorry, he just hasn't. And
when they picked up his fifth year option, I kind of figured that was their way of saying they believe in him long term. He's got that dog mentality, all of that stuff. They believe he's a top 5 player, top 5 corner. I mean, they've been saying all the stuff that leads up to, well, if you're saying all of this, you believe all of this, you better pay him. And I think with Fitterer gone, the new strategy is going to be get guys paid before their 5th year option.
But he has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying, like, what it feel like from like the front office doing from my point of view.
Oh, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. But at this point, with JC Horn at this point, he has to stay healthy. I agree with what you're saying though. Like at the point where they're getting paid before the 5th year option, which I've been saying that. I mean, Brian Burns should have got paid a long time ago. As much as we talk shit about him, and is he worth that contract? Do I think he's worth that Giants contract? No, I do not think so. But he could have got that contract cheaper years ago, but we didn't pay him that. We did not pay him that.
I don't. Horn has right now. He's on his last year of his contract. He has his 5th year option next year. Then you can franchise him after that. The average price right now of a top level corner is around $20 million. Next year, his fifth-year option is $12 million. I'm sorry, I'm not giving him a contract until closer to his franchise deal, because, like Jake said, he has to stay healthy, and he has to put what we've seen briefly. He has to put it in a full season. You want $20 million, fine, but you're going to have to earn the $20 million.
To that point, Pickle,
just hand it to you.
How many games does he have to play in?
At least 14. At least 14 or 15.
Yeah, a majority of them.
Right.
Not half of them. Not
This
half.
goes back.
I mean, you don't play in 7
No,
games.
at least 14
a year.
At least 14. Yep.
Wait. Here's my question: do y'all believe this is a real report that that the Panthers are like actively trying to figure out ways to pay JC Horn, or are they just preparing?
No,
for
they'll wait.
No, I don't think it's a real report. If he, in the past, I've tracked down some of these reports like this, because you have to go deep, and they end up being a fans page somewhere said the Panthers could be, because somebody, and then they'll link it to a reporter who said the Panthers should be.
Right.
And
it's blown
somebody
out.
twists a word out to get clicks on a fans webpage that says the Panthers are negotiating. And to me, I'm not believing anything until I hear it from either a beat reporter I trust or one of the national media guys.
I would be willing to believe that they have had a conversation that they might like to keep him there. But I don't think.
I agree, Kyle.
Actively telling him, "Hey, man, we're gonna pay you like tomorrow."
Hey, real quick.
Shout out Bob to the Wool Rats with the 5 Get the C3 Panther Podcast membership. Good on you, brother.
Thank you, Bob Lorax.
Thank
You're
you.
the man, brother.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, appreciate you. But I believe one of our front office guys, maybe Tillis, called his agent up and said, "Hey, how much you think he'll want per year?" Okay, all right, get back with you. Hang up. That's the extent of the whole conversation. Maybe not even a call, maybe an email or a text, and that's it.
Yeah.
Can I bring this up real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
I think Cody's point, though, is like what I was thinking this whole time. Like, I just think they're in this mindset where they don't want to let any good players go anymore. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, if we got to overpay for them, I guess they're gonna have to do it. Because you know, it's better to have talent on the team than not have talent on the team. And I mean, we are kind of in the start of this rebuild where it's like, I mean, it really just doesn't make sense to trade any more of like the only young talent we have left on this roster.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it'll happen. But if Brian Burns balls out for New York this year, then that would be Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and now Brian Burns living their best life somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like,
don't say that, Cody. Don't say that shit.
That's
I don't want that.
I don't want.
That's a whole foot. That ain't no pill. That's a whole foot.
And I don't. But it would be just all those near misses that Brian Burns had his entire career here. But now all of a sudden he learns how to pick them shits up in New York. God, I'd be so mad, man.
Man. I think Clowney has a better year than Brian Burns. My bad, Pickle. I'm just gonna say I'm not trying to ride that whole Panther fan coattail. I'm being legit. I think Clowney's gonna have more sacks than Brian Burns, even with Dexter Lawrence and whoever else they had with the Giants. I believe Clowney's gonna have more sacks, and that's just me. I'm unbiased. Unbiased. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're the last thing from unbiased. Now, I believe if Brian Burns has a good year, it's not going to be because Brian Burns is that good and is an elite player. It's going to be because he's had better talent around him. That's just my opinion.
I agree. Go ahead, Trey. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I ain't saying that, but I agree. Like, I think Brian was definitely gonna have more sacks than Clowney. That ain't even a question.
I don't even think that's that controversial, to be honest with you.
And so I'm by myself. Oh, CK, don't do me like that.
Brian Burns has always played good when he
Wait,
has.
so y'all think
when
the
he
Burns
has
is
like
going to have more
another edge rusher opposite him. He
No,
played good when
Cody, say it.
He played good when he had Rick opposite him. When you give him a reliable opposite edge
He
rusher,
still had less sacks.
Brian Burns is not the edge rusher that can carry a team, but he's a good number 2 who can tag along with somebody.
He still had less sacks than Hassan Reddick. He still had less sacks than Hassan Reddick.
Well,
I don't care what anybody says.
I told you
he was elite. Oh, and I agree with that. But you're saying even though that he has a second option against him on the other side compared to what he had when he has Hassan Reddick, I don't think he's gonna get more sacks than Clowney. And I'm not biased Panther fan against that. I still think that Clowney's gonna have more sacks than Brian Burns. I'm sorry, but I do. I really do agree with that.
I really hope you're right. The last thing I need is a stuck-up Giants fan on my timeline telling me how bad SAR.
Hey, we're gonna be a different country, Pickle. We're gonna be in a different country.
I mean, let's be real. You can build the best defense in the history of defenses. That still ain't going to take away from the fact that you's a dumb organization who gave that ignorant quarterback all that fucking money.
And I'm not going to dispute that.
Your quarterback is
not
still Daniel Jones because you paid him too much.
Hey, I want to bring this up real quick. Just a little change of pace. I was thinking about this today. Like, how many games do you give Ikem Ekwonu if he's constantly forcing our quarterback to run out of the pocket before you just put in someone else? And you
said Keanu Neal?
No, Ike Ekwonu.
3 games.
Yeah, I said
I agree with that.
5 games.
Yeah, but between 3 and 4, I really don't think it's going to be much. I think there's a reason why we have all this offensive linemen. We've got 10 offensive linemen on this roster. I don't ever remember having that many offensive linemen on the roster. We also have an offensive tackle on the practice squad. So that tells you right away they're preparing to make sure Bryce stays up.
Hey, real quick, I put up a poll in the chat. Says who will have more sacks in 2024, Brian Burns or Jadeveon Clowney? Get in the chat, vote.
How bad am I down, Cody? How bad am I down? Because already what my point is on that.
I ride with you, Jay. He ain't gonna be about shit.
Hey, right now, it's Clowney at 75%.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Now you're at 77. So there's more believers in Jadeveon Clowney.
That's me.
Yep. I will say 2 things to the Clowney versus Burns having more sacks. I believe that we'll be playing with leads more often than the Giants will. I honestly think Burns just traded what he's been through the last couple of years. He got paid, so congrats there. But I don't see the Giants offense putting up a lot of points this year. So all that pass rush, unless they can get guys behind the sticks early in offense, I don't see the Giants putting up a lot of points. But
that's exactly what I said.
The whole Icky thing. I said Icky had 3 games and he's still struggling. Something that Cody said way back when. And I personally, I saw the logic behind what Cody was saying, and I was like, hey, that made sense. If Icky is struggling, Christensen goes in at left tackle.
I think we're better. Hold on. I think we're better equipped going into this offseason, going into the next season with if Equanley, I can't even say his name. A left tackle.
Yeah.
If he struggles, I think we're better equipped going into this season than we have been last couple off season. We got Bray Christian that can play left tackle. We've seen him preseason. We have Yosh Niesman, who just now within the last week, 2 weeks here lately has been healthy with the helmet on. I think we're better equipped for if this person goes down. And I'm not just saying left tackle. It could be left guard. It could be center. It could be right guard. It could be right tackle. I think we're better equipped this year going into the season than we have been the last few years. And that's great. And I'm all for 10 offensive linemen right now. Then that's excellent because we're going to have injuries at some point going on in this season. We just are. It happens every year for every team.
Go ahead, Nat.
I was just gonna say, like, this whole what someone just brought up. This is what I said, man. Brian Burns went from the same situation to the same situation. Like, the Giants aren't going to be winning games. He's not going to have many opportunities to rush the pass at all, which is like, we kind of did him a disservice trading him to the Giants because they're a pretty bad team. So I just think, like, if we have more leads than them, Clowney's going to have more shots at the apple. So, like, I just don't think Brian Burns is in for some breakout year. Like, if the team's down by, like, 14 points at a time, you know, the other team's not going to be throwing the ball a ton.
Yeah, he's like you said, like that was the thing. Again, the defense of Brian Burns last year was that we had the lowest number of pass attempts against our defense, meaning he had the lowest number of opportunities of passing or rushing the passer. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. I think that there is a possibility that offense is so abysmal that defense has no other, recourse than to try to stuff the run. And that's not Brian Burns' forte. It's never been. Like, he's been able to, he's been probably one of our worst when it comes to run defenders because he just over pursues the quarterback a lot. I was
gonna say, CK, would you agree that he bet on himself and it didn't work out? Would you agree on that?
Yes. I think that he bet on himself, but he also seemed to have made him. He even publicly said that he didn't play well because he was probably in his mind about not wanting to get injured or something along those lines because he's in a contract year and all that stuff, and that's money lost, from his, potential contract. I think that's part of it. But here's the thing. Here's the other reality: is Brian Burns may not. Here's the thing. I think he's still a good player. I think he's a good edge rusher. It'd be foolish if they had, paid him and didn't believe that, right? And I think most people in the NFL would probably agree he's a good player. I think his biggest impact is he's going to open up the rush for those other guys. I think that's what's going to really be the difference maker, and that's why they're going to look at that as a win. Is they're going to see all these other guys just play at lights out, So that's where I think you're going to see the biggest impact of Brian Burns with the Giants.
I agree with that.
Plus, he played standing up last year, so that the Giants have an entire season of film on him at the outside linebacker position, standing up rather than just primarily being a pass rusher. So I'm sure that there's different sets where he's not rushing the passer, or he's in more of a coverage set.
I just seen, and this is just my opinion. I just seen too many plays after week 12 last season that it looked like he gave up, and he might have been playing hurt or whatever. But it just seemed like he just, and he admit. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he even admitted to not going full speed.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't give full speed, and all of our opinions about Brian Burns for the most part went out the door because, we won't. If you give 100% effort all the damn time, like Luke Kuechly, Julius Peppers, Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, Ryan Khalil, I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. But when you don't give 100%, even if it's a bad year, bro, we're all just going to be like, man, nah. Even though it's a bad year, you got to keep going, bro. You just got to.
Yeah, and what's the difference? Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, what's the difference between him and Derek Brown when Derek Brown got paid as well and he had a great season? What's the I just think that was a BS excuse as to not give it 100. Then why didn't you hold out? Why didn't we all thought maybe he was going to hold out? He never held out. So
yeah, I mean, I need to be here for the team, and I need to do this, and the team this, and we're building something special. Blah blah blah. All right.
Yeah, I would have rather us gave money to YGM than Brian Burns. Because YGM wasn't that good, but when he was on the field, he tried. He might have.
He gave 100% effort. He gave 100% effort.
He gave that effort there, and Brian Burns is not that.
YGM was a better run defender. I had that thought the other day. YGM was always a better run defender than Burns. So with this focus on the defensive side of the ball of stopping the run, YGM is a player that I would have liked to have had back. We know he's not the pass rusher that He's not going to get to the quarterback a lot. But I'm guessing what Evero, and someone else said this earlier. I'm guessing what Evero's scheme is going to be this year. If you can get the opposing offense into 3rd and longs, you're probably not going to be able to generate a lot of pressure with just those guys you're sending. Like, I think we're going to be about on par with what we were last year in terms of rushing the quarterback. I'm looking at the moves that they made, specifically with I forget what it's called, after everyone had made the cuts, after everyone made their initial rosters, and they bring in, I think, 4 new corners, and they're all over 6 feet tall. I think what they're trying to do is keep everything in front of them. Our corners have length. So if our pass rush can just generate pressure, make the quarterback throw the ball a little bit sooner than you want, so you might not be able to get home, but get the ball out of his hand a little bit sooner. Those corners, the 6 feet, 6'1", in position, knock the ball
Try
away.
and take
Get
me
a
to the
turn.
deep shot.
They're not trying to get big body.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of sacks, but I do believe our turnover production is going to increase. Just being able to get the D-line and the secondary to work in unison.
Hey, y'all just made me miss YGM more than I do Burns. What in the hell?
Calm down and say state, fan. We don't care.
There we go.
That's all right,
Hey, Kyle, cover yours, bro. I ain't talking about you. Don't say nothing, Kyle. It ain't towards you.
That's all right, Jake. I hope your next quarterback breaks his fucking leg too, like last time.
Oh no, he didn't. No. He said my name. Hey, Cody. Hey, Cole, you can talk that shit, but guess what? I'm still an LSU fan. Tar Heel second. So what you saying, bro?
You said bandwagon Fairweather. Okay.
Hey.
No, my
real college football team.
Go Tennessee. Go Tennessee.
We gonna see next week, baby. We gonna see in 1 week.
I like this, baby. What up? Real kings of the ACC. What's up?
Yeah, talk to him.
Crazy.
Y'all know the ACC. You know the ACC is literally the second class compared to the
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna hold it down for us. You're gonna see.
Wait until we beat the #1 ranked Bulldogs.
Hey, Cody. Whenever you're smoking, pass that shit to me.
Then you woke up.
I want to see Clemson win now. I really do, bro. I want to see just how Cody would act, boy. I want to see it.
Man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when Cody shows up on this show next week, and everybody knows that Georgia handed Clemson?
That shit. Everybody talk that shit. Y'all all about to find out.
That's what it is.
Hard way, baby.
I just know that we have not ever got that Clemson player ever. In any rounds, 1 through 7. 1 through 7. What the hell is going on?
And we've been pretty sorry, haven't we? We've been pretty sorry, haven't we?
Pickle, you gonna leave my goddamn conference alone?
Anal Clowns Conference. That's what it says.
You know what? You know what NCC stands for? Suck every cock. So how about that?
Hey, now Pickle, say the name one more time for me, brother. What was the name of that conference?
Anal Clowns Conference.
Oh boy! All right, we're getting the hell up out of here, bro. There ain't nothing good coming left from that. Let me get everybody's final words, and we're gonna get up out of here.
KJ Brooks, he's the #1 fan on the Spaces, and I support what he just said.
What do you say?
Absolutely right. Leota is a basic.
Man, you know what?
Same level as
Put it on
YGM.
screen. See.
You know what? Y'all are despicable. That's all you need.
You said Clemson despicable? Hell yeah, Cody.
We are all in over here. All in, baby.
SEC.
Down. You know what I'm saying?
Western Carolina. NC State ass.
Broken legs and lucky field goals.
Hey, our backup quarterback even better. Where D Money at? D Money, you need to be in here. Hey, I'll back up quarterback better
Don't
anyway.
call you
It don't
big brother
matter.
now, Jacob.
Hey, you damn right. That's my big brother. You don't want him in here.
It'd
All
be
right,
all right.
look.
Hey, send me this invite. You can get to smoking
We're
25
gonna get
immediately.
everybody. Hey, let me ask my man JD. You still there? JD, what's up, brother? JD, do I got you? He might be coming back to the microphone.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, what up, JD? Give me your final thoughts for the free for all, brother.
Nah, I ain't got much to add, bro. It's dope hearing you guys talk about football. I mean, I always come to the show to try to learn something. Just hear other people's takes, their opinions. Especially with I mean, I'm in Hawaii, right? So I can't actually go to training camp or any of that to see what's going on. So I always rock with you guys, man. Dunk, PNP, the retired, unretired Pat Coltrane, man. All y'all, C3, hey, these podcasters, hey, show them all the love you can, bro. Like I said, love coming on, being able to shoot the shit with you guys, and I'm looking forward to this season, man. Keep pounding.
Yes, sir. JD,
Yes, sir.
AJ Brooks.
On there. Yes, sir. Let me go to my man, Ant. Appreciate you, bro. Give me your final words for the free for all, brother.
What's up? Honestly, man, it's been tough being a fan, living in Charlotte. Like, had so many good memories of this team. But I think this year, Bryce Young is going to show a lot of his doubters in this fan base why he was picked number one. I truly believe that. And, last year, I was not a fan of Frank Reich that big. So I had my skeptications about the team. This year, I'm not really looking for wins. I just want to get some moral victories. If we play hard, if our quarterback proves himself, if the rookies, and this is the one thing not many people are talking about. I think, Tony brings this up all the time about how we just need to have that one draft like the 2017 Saints did. And I think this draft could really be that one for us where we get like 4 straight young stars out of the draft. I love Jadeveon Sanders. Jonathan Brooks is going to be great when he plays. Trevin Wallace looks like a dog. And, I'm not kind of indifferent about Xavier Legette. I'm still going to support the dude. I still think he's a good player. So I think we have a lot of positives to look forward to in starting Sunday. And then the other thing is, I mean, if we know that we have our future franchise quarterback and coach coming out of the year, I think that's the biggest win you could possibly ask for, in my opinion. Keep pounding, boys. I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot this next week, and the post-game show is going to be lit on Sunday. Whether we win or lose, there's going to be a lot of crazy callers calling in, including myself. You already know. But, yeah, man, college football's back. Football's back. Waiting all day for a Sunday night. Yes, sir. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Hey, go Charlotte 49ers. Hey, shout out to you, Anthony. Charlotte 49ers. Let's go. Yep.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it.
Go
Amen, brother.
49ers, baby. I like
go.
that. Let me go to my man, Kyle, 910. Kyle, I appreciate you, bro. Give me your final thoughts for the free-for-all this afternoon or this evening, rather.
Shit, I mean, another good one. Let's put it in the books, keep pounding.
Yes, sir. Keep pounding. Appreciate you, bro. My man, Cole, man, it's been another real one, brother. I appreciate you as always. Give me your final thoughts, man. What are you thinking about on this free-for-all Friday?
Well,
Only thing I can really think
NC
about.
State sucks.
Shut your ass up, Jacob. Drink your slug of your beer. Drink your little Mike's Hard Lemonade. Let me get my rocks off right quick. Cody, the only thing I'm really thinking about right now is you have been on here and all of us since, February, January? That's the last time we saw, no, way before that, relevant Panther football.
Yeah.
And you got one more Friday until you see something real. And then after that, we're going to be talking about what's going on. All the assuming, guessing, and questions going to be over. We're just going to be talking about what we see, dude. And I just can't wait. And I look forward to it. And I love spending time with y'all, man. I appreciate it.
Love it, brother. Appreciate you as always, man. You already know. And It's gonna be a fun weekend when you come to town. That's all.
Oh man, I'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, you know.
Go Tennessee. Go Tennessee. Let's go.
Go
Go
to
Bulls.
hell. Go to hell.
Oh shit! All right, next up,
you'll always be.
I can't wait to hear that.
Tell
shit, for
Pickle.
God's sake.
Tell Pickle.
All right, we're almost done with these intros. My man, Trigger Smitty, Trigger, it's been real as always. Congrats, getting out of that ankle strap, bro.
Yes,
You're
sir.
the man. You know we appreciate you. Give us your final thoughts for the show, man.
For sure, man. It's fam, man. I had to spend this first Friday with y'all. I was supposed to go to my cousin's high school game, but nah, man. Y'all been rocking with me while I was down, so I had to celebrate my first weekend with y'all, man. It's
Yes,
been real.
sir. That's love.
I'm ready for the
We
season,
appreciate
man.
you, brother. We appreciate you, brother.
For sure. Love rocking with y'all, man. We'll do it again next week.
Football is almost here, man. Keep
Almost here,
pounding.
baby.
Side note,
pounding.
G
Yeah.
Baby's in the chat. He's on the face of the earth. I thought he was on.
Oh yeah, he's been in the
It's
chat.
about time to grab, Anthony. You know he's gonna pop up.
Hey, shout out.
Shout out to the dog, G baby.
Shout out G Baby, bro. Thank you for the text, bro. Hook 'em, brother. Hook 'em.
Yes, sir. Let me see who we're going to next. My dog, Jake the Snake.
Hey, I'm here, bro. Nah, I
man,
appreciate
every
every.
thoughts for the free for all, bro.
Hey, bro, I appreciate all y'all, bro. We're about a little over a week away from regular season football. Hey, I'm all for it, brother. I appreciate. Hey, dude, it's been a grind, man. It's been an absolute grind. I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate Cody, CK, Pickle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Yeah, I appreciate the whole shit, man. Kyle, Cole, Diesel, Seal, all y'all, even Red Swarm, bro. Even though he's a Falcons fan, I appreciate all y'all, man. It's been a grind, but we here, y'all. A week away from some regular season football, man. We
Let's
here.
go.
Let's get it. Let's go.
I'm so pumped, man. You learn to love the off season when it's over, because that absence make the heart grow fond. You know what I mean? So love it. My man, Panther Pickle, give me your final thoughts for the free for all, brother.
Real quick update: the guard tackle that we signed today was originally on the Tampa Bay's 53-man roster, Brandon Walton. He actually was released. They told him they were planning to put him on the practice squad to use him a lot this year. They were going to activate him off the practice squad to use him a lot. That was their plan. When he cleared waivers and they attempted to sign him to their practice squad, he refused to sign with Carolina instead.
I saw that.
Somebody got his ear.
Damn.
So,
all right.
well, his ex-offensive lineman coach, Joe Gilbert. If you watch Panther Huddle this week, or there's actually a video of it.
I watched that today.
On YouTube.
Good episode.
On YouTube, if you watch the guy standing on the sideline of the Bills game, running up and down the sideline, is our offensive line coach, Joe Gilbert, screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs. He told his offensive line, he said, "You ain't pretty, and I love you." That's what I'm telling you guys. You guys ain't pretty, but I love you anyway.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Pickle.
Yeah.
I need an unbiased draft report from James Pierce this fall. I know you're a Tennessee fan, but
yeah,
just try to be honest. Just try to be honest.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Keep pounding, y'all. I'm gonna dip. Keep pounding,
All right,
boys.
keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Last but not least, my man, you know him, you love him, my brother, CK, the voice that makes them moist. Coach Dizzle, I appreciate you joining me on the free for all, bro. Give me your final thoughts for the show.
Man, this is the last show for C3 before actual NFL football. And well, no, we have Tuesday night. I was thinking they did it Monday night, but we're close. This is the last Friday free for all before NFL football. And so there's excitement to be had there. And if you guys aren't excited, I don't really, I don't know what I need to do to get you guys excited. I mean, we got, the future of the Panthers on the line with this season. And man, it's going to be good to see what this team does, man. I'm happy to be here. I know I don't get to come on Friday Free for All very often, but man, I'm happy to be able to hang out with you guys, have a conversation, talk about all the teams in the NFC South and all that stuff. And do it in a chill way where I'm sitting here playing Madden while you guys are, arguing about whether Clemson's going to be a good team or not.
They're not.
Hey, man. So let's just say this. Tomorrow at 12 begins the beatdown of the Georgia Bulldogs by my Clemson Tigers. So I'm already happy. And we got to have a free-for-all. Man, you already know what time it is. I've been your host, Cody Lashing. Love doing this with y'all boys. Y'all know I appreciate you. Until next time, keep pounding.
Keep pounding, Cody.